Hello, a very good morning to you. You're welcome to The Big Issue. We are live on 97.3 City FM, also on Channel 1 Television. We are on YouTube as well. I am Selorm Adonoo. The show, as always, is live and interactive. You can join the discussion via our WhatsApp line 020-444-7033 or 0549-986-996, and we'll be happy to share your views with the rest of the world. Some interesting things happened this week. We'll take it off from the happenings at the Ridge Hospital, where over the weekend, an incident there, where indeed we understand that some patients or persons had been taken to the hospital and, in the view of many, required urgent care. But the medical personnel or the health personnel in the hospital, in the view of those people, were lackadaisical or slow in attending to them. A young man who is a known activist got into the hospital, also reporting with some injury, screamed at the people, ran amok or ran around the place, allegedly assaulting some of the nurses because he felt that they were slow in attending to him. The young lady has since taken out a suit against the gentleman in question, Ralph Williams, and the matter appears to be growing. But one part of the matter that has intrigued a lot of many is how the health minister has been brought in all of this. The health minister, upon hearing the matter, dispatched a team there and followed up. And whilst he was there and walking out of the meeting with the leadership of the hospital, the gentleman in question walked to him, shook hands with him, and many have thought that he was too friendly with the gentleman. The minister has been at pains explaining that he wasn't friendly with him. He is a minister. Somebody walked up to him, shook his hands, and whispered something into his ears. He couldn't have pushed him away. He couldn't have snubbed him. And so that is the matter we're looking at. But the question really is that, is it much ado about nothing? Also, is it that we are taking the protest culture too far? Citizen activism, how are we dealing with it? This gentleman, we understand, went to bring in a lot of people to come and quote-unquote disrupt the works or the activities of the hospital. Police have since arrested one, but the main gentleman, we understand, has not been arrested yet. Why hasn't the police been able to see him? The gentleman has been around granting interviews and doing Facebook Live or live streaming all over the place. So why hasn't he been arrested? An investigative body, according to the minister, has been set up to look into the matter. Was the lady in question really assaulted? We've seen videos, but we've not really seen the video of the real assault that has been complained about. What is the truth in the matter? This morning, we will try to unravel the truth as we know it and as my panelists understand. Also, we will look at some showbiz matter. Shatta Wale, arguably Ghana's biggest entertainment export, arguably. Indeed, I know the Stonebwoy fans are listening, so I need to put that in context. Arguably, Ghana's biggest entertainment export has been embroiled in some international fraudulent scam or scandal. The vehicle he uses, a Lamborghini Urus, we understand was purchased with proceeds of crime. Shatta Wale, according to sources, told the Iyoko that he bought it on the street or from the street, whatever that means, and that he bought it from a contact on his WhatsApp called Zach, somebody whose identity he is unable to verify or confirmed. That is what we hear he told the Iyoko. He was detained for a while, bailed later on revised bail conditions, and he's a free man, as far as we know, not a free man entirely. He has liberty to do other things, whilst he reports to Iyoko once every week for the continuation of the investigation. The FBI, the context is that the FBI has been interested in this matter. Another gentleman, a Ghanaian American, is in jail, going to spend some 64 months in jail for being involved in some cybercrime and romantic or romance scam to the tune of $4 million. We understand that some of that proceed was used to purchase the car that Shatta Wale uses, or that the car in question. Shatta Wale, we understand, does not have documents to the car, and the documents of the car we also hear are in the name of this gentleman who is currently in jail. Initially, when Iyoko went to Shatta Wale's house in May to take their car. We understand that Shatta Wale said the car did not belong to him. He used it as part of his brand promotion. And so what has changed? A few months down the line, he says he bought a car on the street from one Zach. We will try to understand all of that and look at the bigger context, the celebrity culture, unexplained wealth, etc. Should we be more concerned about how our celebrities make money and the kind of lifestyle they put out there, and those lifestyles influence or affect the unsuspecting youth a lot? What can we do to protect our younger generation and even the sanctity of our society in general? We'll look at all of that discussion this morning. Once again, this is the big issue on 97.3 City FM, also on Channel 1 television. I'll take a short break. When I return, I'll provide you some updates, introduce my guests, and we'll get a discussion underway. Once again, you're welcome.
You've seen nothing yet. This Big Brother Naija Season 10. It's 10 times the drama, 10 times the rivalry, and 10 times the game. This is certified. No zero, no minus. Big Brother Naija Season 10. Showing 24/7 on DSTV and on GoTV. Gold sponsor, Guinness.
Looking for a one-stop shopping destination for all things made in Ghana? Eager to experience a remarkable fair that showcases the richness, creativity, and innovation behind Ghanaian products and services? Then get ready for the This is Ghana Exhibition 2025. The This is Ghana Exhibition highlights the brilliance of Ghanaian entrepreneurs, artisans, and businesses who continue to shape the narrative of homegrown excellence. This is Ghana's biggest trade fair and exhibition, bringing together SMEs, startups, research and manufacturing sectors, indigenous corporate bodies, and local creatives in one exciting space. The This is Ghana Exhibition 2025. Come explore, engage, and be inspired by the businesses and brands that are redefining made in Ghana across every sector. The dates: Saturday the 6th and Sunday the 7th of September 2025. Time is 10 a.m. through to 5 p.m. each day. The venue is the A4 Sutherland Children's Park. For inquiries or participation details, call us on 0205 973 973. The This is Ghana Exhibition 2025 is powered by Channel 1 TV and 97.3 City FM and is proudly sponsored by MTN, EcoBank, Side Hustle by EK Brand Consult, Ghana Enterprises Agency, Ghana Export Promotion Authority, and Ghana Exim Bank, and is supported by Twillium Industrial Company Limited and Build Financial Technologies.
Game. They will be bubbling about this one for weeks and months to come. Let's go!
It's on SuperSport all season long. Pay your subscription today. Dial *759#. Available on DSTV and GoTV.
You're welcome back. This is the big issue. We are live on 97.3 City FM. I am Selorm Adonoo. We are looking at two key issues this morning. We are looking at the incident that occurred over the weekend at the Ridge Hospital, where a gentleman allegedly assaulted a nurse or some nurses because, in his view, the nurses were slow in attending to him. That brings into focus the security we have at the hospitals or in the hospitals, also the issue of waiting time, and sometimes the attitude of nurses. It also brings into focus citizen activism, the protest culture. The gentleman in question, we know, has been involved in a number of protests and demonstrations in the past. Did he take that too far? The lady in question, the nurse, has also taken out a writ against the gentleman, asking for some 5 million cedis and also 2 million cedis for defamation and a few other things. Interesting times ahead. We will look at all of that. Also, Shatta Wale is in the news. He was arrested by Ayoko, detained, questioned, and released on bail. He says that the subject of the investigation was a Lamborghini Urus vehicle, which we understand, according to the FBI and DOJ, were purchased with proceeds of crime. There's a gentleman in jail, a Ghanaian American in jail, who has been implicated in or convicted for his role in what is being known as romance scam to the tune of 4 million cedis. And we understand that that vehicle was one of the things purchased from the proceeds of those crimes. And the FBI has been tracing a lot of things. And if you recall, in the last couple of weeks and months, the FBI has silently been working with the Ghanaian authorities in relation to this particular matter. And a few Ghanaians have been shipped to the US for investigation or extradited for that purpose. Will Shatta Wale be one of them? What will happen to him, his act, the entertainment industry, if he is extradited to face charges or trial in the US? Should Ghana do that at all? We'll look at all of that this morning. And also the issue about unexplained wealth. Shatta Wale says he bought a car on the street, whatever that means, from a gentleman called Zach, who is unable to, whose identity is unable to verify or confirm. Bought a car, is it $150,000 to $200,000? Do you buy a car of such amount on the street? I don't understand the language of the street, perhaps. So we'll look at all of that this morning. But let me just give you a quick update. The Health Minister, Komna Minta Kando, has clarified that his handshake with social media activist Ralph St. Williams, who was accused of assaulting a health worker at a Ridge Hospital, should not be misconstrued as a sign that firm action will not be taken over the incident. The clarification follows public backlash over videos which surfaced online showing the minister warmly greeting the alleged perpetrator shortly after meeting hospital officials or management.
On Monday morning, I sent a delegation to Ridge Hospital to ascertain the situation. When the delegation came up upon debriefing, I realized that I had to follow up. And ladies and gentlemen, let me state this, that I have the health workers of this country at heart. And so any attempt by any individual or any group of people to try to incite the health professionals against government, pretending he cares more than us, is unfortunate. And we must stop that. It's an avoidable tension we must avoid. It doesn't help the sector. If indeed you are a practicing health professional in the sector, it doesn't help the sector. And so, when the delegation came back, I had to follow up. I was in the company with the Deputy Director General and other directors of the ministry. We joined the medical superintendent at the Ridge Hospital, and I visited the victims. After going around, we had a closed-door meeting to discuss the issues, not insults. One, how to look at beefing on the internal security, staffing issues. So after the closed-door meeting, I came out to address the press to categorically condemn the physical attack. And that is the most important aspect. And for me, let me at this point reiterate to the whole country that irrespective of the level of provocation at any health facility in this country, nobody, irrespective of your status in society, absolutely nobody has the right to attack any health professional in this country. That is the gravamen of the issue. No diversionary tactics about handshaking. That is what we must concentrate on, to send a clear signal that our health professionals working at the various health facilities are safe. And so after the engagement with the management, when I pulled out of the ward, then in fact, in the engagement with the management, I made it clear to them that I had listened to their side of the story. And therefore, as a minister, I will also listen to the other side of the story. And I then constituted a committee to look into the matter, bring out recommendations for implementation. A lawyer, a nurse, a medical doctor, an auditor, an HR person to go into the matter. Now, when I pulled out, my attention was drawn to a gentleman called Ralph, who was at the center of the controversy. And so he was walking towards us as a group. The medical director was with me. The deputy director general was also with me. Then I asked, why did you do this, gentleman? When I asked, most of you were there. I mean, the press, you were there. So you can attest to what I'm saying. You were there with me. When I asked him, the gentleman then stretched his hand, shaking me, and trying to whisper something into my ears. Ladies and gentlemen, at this point, should I push the guy that don't whisper anything into my ears? Should I snub him? Should I shout at him? Even if that guy has been prosecuted and sentenced to life imprisonment, and he stretches his hand to shake me, as a minister, as a public officer, I have the duty to stretch and greet him.
That is the Honorable Minta Kando, Kwabena Minta Kando, who is the health minister. He was at the Ridge Hospital on the day of the incident to see to the issue, met management of the hospital. On his way out, that is where the head of the controversy really started. He was met by this young man, like he was explaining. He shook hands with him, and the criticism is that the handshake was too friendly for someone who came to, quote-unquote, disrupt activities at the hospital. But we will get into that. My guests for this morning's discussion are seated. We have the head of communications at the health ministry, Tony Goodman, and then he said Dr. Tony Goodman. If you want to get a PhD, then you have to receive it. Tony Goodman, head of communications at the health ministry, and Rapia Dankwa, spokesperson for the Movement of Change, as a private legal practitioner as well. Dr. Dixon Adomaku Kisi, he's a medical doctor and former MP for Anya Soutum. We'll also be joined by Jefferson Asari, who is the Greater Accra Regional chairman of the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association, and Dr. Nanaya Wakwada, public safety advocate and executive director of the Bureau of Public Safety. These are my guests this morning. Of course, Franklin Kujo, president of Money Africa, as always, will be on Zoom with us this morning. Gentlemen, welcome to the program. Let me start off with you, Tony Goodman. You were at the hospital. This happened right under your nose, and you were. I saw you in the videos. You were on TV and radio explaining things. What really happened on that day, as far as you know?
Thank you. Good morning to our viewers. Let me first and foremost empathize with the nurse in question who was allegedly attacked. What actually happened was on Sunday, we were all greeted with some scenes of some destruction of healthcare service at the Ridge Hospital. And then on Monday, when we got to the office, we had to brief the minister regarding what happened. We normally do our media briefings. So after the media briefing, the minister said, no, let me get officers to rush to the Ridge Hospital and come and give me a briefing. We went there, came back, gave him the briefing. But what we saw upon our arrival at the Ridge Hospital was that these staffs were down-spirited. Some said, Tony made a Juma no crime kufi. So I said, oh no, that's not right. So when I got to the office, I said, oh, Minister, this will happen. It will be better for you to go there and then ship morale, get them to go back to work. Then said, okay, let's walk there. So one of my colleagues jokingly said, with my weight, I can't walk to Ridge. Looking at the distance, I can't walk. That's okay, let's go. So we got there, waited for about 5 minutes, called back the office to check whether the minister was on his way, only for us to be told that the minister has actually invited the Director General of Ghana Health Service to also join in. So within 10, 15 minutes, they were already in the hospital. When they arrived, we moved straight to the man who was brought earlier by Raf Mku. Then we received a briefing that he had some head injury and all that. So during the assessment, after stabilizing him, they decided to get an ambulance from the National Ambulance Service to transport him to a different facility to get some diagnostic done before they can continue. You should know that now we are not in symptomatic care. You need to be sure of what you are dealing with. And they didn't have that CT scan there. So you need to move out to. So the guys didn't understand that. So from there, the minister moved to the nurse who had hand injury and then spoke to the lady and said, I'm going to provide all that you have lost and make sure that you receive the best of care. If the hospital cannot cater for you, I'll move you out and make sure that you receive the best care. Then he moved to management meeting, discussed issues with management. So during the discussion, he realized that the people took the coming of the police to the place as reporting the matter to the police. So he said, no, you have to officially lodge a complaint, get the lady to go there, and then write his statement. They said, okay, we'll do that. On our way to the hospital, at the entrance, then we met the gentleman, Raf, shaking everybody, including the minister. After the handshake, the minister then, I said to the minister, Minister, this is Raf. And so, are you sure? I said, yes. There is a gentleman, why did you do that? Raf said, I'll come to your office. I'm coming to your office to tell you what actually happened. So I quickly moved back. If you watch the video, because I wasn't happy with the way he was laughing, shaking everybody. So when we go to the office, the minister said, issue a statement condemning the attitude of this guy. We did that. Then I heard the minister talking to the IGP. Then he said we should write a letter to the regional commander, getting him to provide security to the Ridge Hospital. That was done, and then we got Nima Police Station to provide us with patrol. This patrol team was stationed at the entrance of the emergency area.
So this is the big issue on 97.3 FM. On the screen, as you were just seeing, was a video of the gentleman shaking and interacting with the minister. That's the gentleman in some, do I say dreadlocks or afro hair or bushy hair, who you can see some bandage on his hands. That is the emergency or the injury he came to the hospital with. Tony Goodman, who is just speaking, is the one on the screen in the jacket and the white shirt there, watching the minister interact and smile with the gentleman. So that is the head of the controversy, that the minister didn't have to be friendly with someone who allegedly disrupted operations or activities of the hospital. Yes, Goodman.
So if this whole incident has made me talk a lot, so
no, it's all right. It's
when I've been talking on this matter.
So
when we got to the office, the minister actually directed that we issue a statement, and the statement we issued was strong-worded, condemning the attack of this guys and his group. Immediately that was done, he spoke to the IGP. I was there. He spoke to the IGP, and then a privileged information they shared. From there, caused the chief director to write to the regional commander. That was also done. The regional commander got the Nima patrol team to station around that area. So for somebody to think that the handshake came after the action, it's wrong. The handshake happened, but the minister took all these actions and set up
The
a
action as
committee.
in the minister's actions in terms of issuing a statement and all of that?
Yes.
Okay.
Getting the police, getting the people to go to the police station, involving the IGP, involving the regional command, were done just after the handshake. He didn't even know this guy. I prompted him that this is rough.
I see.
After that, this minister set up a committee on the same day. They did all of these things the same day. Set up this committee and said, I want the report. By yesterday, we're ready with the report. By Monday, the team will submit the report to the minister, looking at the system issues and then what actually happened, what caused that delay. The delay being alleged in the video, what actually caused the delay. So all of this were done. Let me say on record that I mentioned on your radio station that the minister needs commendation, not condemnation, and people didn't understand. I said that because what happened, we expected maybe Ghana Health Service, the minister could have said, oh, Ghana Health Service, go and deal with that issue. But because of his recent visit to the hospitals, trying to strengthen the systems we have, providing additional logistic support, he feels that let me go there and see for myself, and then that will inform system strengthening. That is why he has done it. So if I said that and said that Sky and your boss and co didn't understand, that is the spirit by which I said.
Very, very well. Let me, Doctor Domako and the former MP, given what he has said and what you understood from the happenings, what would be your take on the matters generally?
Well, first of all, let me also admit that healthcare workers face many challenges. And I see this more so as a systems failure. And that is where I want to come in from. It is quite unfortunate that sometimes when you need even a hospital bed, you have to make many phone calls. And I mean many phone calls to secure a hospital bed. And I grieve for the many Ghanaians who cannot make those phone calls. And I must admit that it is troubling that we have a systems failure in terms of our emergencies in this country. And I'm not here to pamper the system, though I'm part of the system. And I'm not here to do politics with this. Health issues are not politics. There are some challenges, admittedly. One key thing, I don't think I want a health minister coming to my hospital for this incident. I don't think so. And that is where I'm not too happy, in the sense that the system should work without quote-unquote big men. And listen, in other jurisdictions, trust me, the minister would have resigned. Australia, other jurisdictions.
The minister would have resigned because
Trust me,
somebody
because of this
create
incident.
some issue
okay,
there.
and not about Akando. It's about the fact that it's a systems failure. One, hospitals generally should have very good security to begin with. Emergency areas especially. And I tell my staff that hospitals are not banks where people are coming to cash money, or the airport where people are traveling and usually very happy. Hospital by its nature, the emergency place, families are frustrated. The sick are also frustrated. So it's a depression zone. So every person entering there is already a bit psychotic. As we all sit here, we're looking normal, but in the midst of an emergency, the frustration can trigger us to behave in a certain way. So, one, there was a fall or a drop in the security system. Outrage, that is very important. We need to look at that. And I don't promote using Ghana Police Service as security for hospitals. There should be
internal security,
very good security for all hospitals, not Ghana Health, not Ghana Police. They would come in when there's a systems failure or there's a need for governmental security services to come in. So that should be looked at. And I'm not talking for only Ridge. I'm talking as a whole country. You know, what are we doing in terms of our security at hospitals? Now, beyond that, I think that I also am not happy with the preparation before the minister visited the hospital. Case in point, if the briefing was very comprehensive, he would have already known the face of the gentleman involved. I mean, let me be frank with you. I mean, supposing, and let's extrapolate this to an incident where it is, you know, a disease-related one. Does that mean that the minister would have just gone in and picked the disease? And that is troubling. You know, it doesn't work that way. There should have been appropriate, if I can come in, there should be appropriate briefing, which should have involved the characters involved. He should have known the nurse's face and the culprit's face. So that, I mean, listen, that is proper briefing. Forgive me. Because I can't walk into a hospital where the alleged victim is not known to me, where the alleged person who conducted himself in that manner is not known to me. This is what happens.
But are you saying that the minister, being a hands-on person, hearing this, shouldn't go there to resolve matters?
For all intents and purposes, administratively, that was wrong.
To go there?
No, I'm saying without the comprehensive briefing. And
the chaotic nature of the thing, maybe the people didn't even know him.
The incident had already happened.
Yeah, they didn't even know him. Or
I always say that after death, there's no emergency. Forgive me, if you understand what I mean. How you manage the patient after death is not an emergency, but you have to do it in a very proper way. So I like his hands-onness, but it comes with injuries. And let's admit that administratively, I mean, people can do all they can, but let me be very frank with you that I think that the necessary briefing that the minister should have had before walking to the hospital did not happen. If that was the case, he would not have been, as it is, cuddling, let me put it that way, with this gentleman.
To paraphrase the minister, even if the briefing was comprehensive and he had seen the picture of the gentleman before meeting him, and the gentleman walked to him to shake him or to greet him, he didn't have to greet him?
He wouldn't have allowed him to, as it is, even hug him. I think it's even so wrong. I mean,
he didn't hug him. He said he was whispering.
Listen, look at that. You know, and listen, nothing against the gentleman, but it is so
that's
wrong.
That's a video of the gentleman.
Yeah, I mean, it's
smiling
so wrong.
and talking to the rest
so
of the people.
Wrong. And you know what? Honestly speaking, I would advise the minister to, as it is, have a proper, security detail. Because this will not happen in certain jurisdictions where the perpetrator, I mean, legally, it is so wrong for even the minister to have had an engagement with this guy. Please. I mean, the media or the general population's perception as it is now.
So people should have prevented him from approaching the minister.
120%. Please. I mean, when you're doing, and listen, this is from a security standpoint and the office he holds. The office he holds. So I'll plead with the PRO. He's done well, but let's divorce ourselves from, because you are also even a participant. So in terms of the assessment of what has happened, you partook in it. So you are not the best person. Forgive me, from an objective standpoint. I would hope that
he's an interested party. And
no. That's why I'm saying that. Yeah. I mean, objective. He's compromised.
Yeah,
forgive me.
Yeah.
So my key point here is that, one, if this was at Confanochi, does that mean the minister would have driven? No. I don't want a minister who drives to put out fires. That is not good for Ghana.
Yeah, but so the systems must work. But perhaps the systems, as maybe he's come to meet them, are not working so
Listen,
much. It takes time to put
I didn't
in
like
systems.
IGP before, what's his name? Dampari, was that when an incident happens at Odoko, there's a regional commander. You should empower your regional commander to take full and appropriate professional actions. It shouldn't be an individual approach. And that is where I have a problem. So, case in point, there's a director for that hospital. All of this that the minister did should have been the director's level. So that the minister will be free. We don't want a Rambo minister. I don't want that.
But the director for the hospital obviously was there, but he couldn't deal with this.
No. And if you have a director who cannot handle this issue, then that director should resign. Please.
But
this is not.
Wait, how should he have done this? I mean, Ridge Hospital, normal place, every day, everybody walks in.
That is why I'm making my point that.
And the gentleman came with a situation. He said he was injured.
Listen, I can tell you.
So the chaos happened whilst he was admitted or was in the hospital.
I can tell you that Triage makes this a very low profile injury. You know, in terms of the things that we handle at the emergency, these cuts or abrasions to the fingers.
So indeed, I have
are very minuscule.
I have the Ghana Health Service or the ministry's accident and emergency admission policy.
Triage.
It says only patients whose assessments fall under red, orange, and yellow shall be admitted to the A&E unit for further management. And it goes on to say that it is the responsibility of the triage officer to refer all patients whose triage assessment falls under green to the general outpatient unit for an appropriate health facility or an appropriate health facility for further management. And the point really too is that from the hospital, I am understanding that the gentleman, I mean, both were triaged. Ralph, who is the gentleman in question, was green. So he was to have been directed to the outpatient unit, not the A&E, and the other person was in yellow. And the yellow triage was sent to trauma, where he received medications via IV that stabilized him. It goes ahead to say that the team were awaiting further assessment to be sure there was no need or there was no head fracture, like Tony Goodman said. All this were done before activation of their health records, known as CARD. We also heard the gentleman say that they wanted him to go and take a card when he was in distress and all of that. So this source is telling me that the gentleman was in green. I mean, when he was assessed, it was green, so it was really no emergency. So he should have been at the outpatient. The other gentleman he was also talking about, that Tony Goodman alluded to, he had a situation that was in green, and they had stabilized him with IV, etc. And they were awaiting further assessment to.
The head injury.
The head injury guy was in red. Okay, so I see. So and they are stabilized him. All right.
So my point here, my real, I mean, I want to be just straightforward, is the systems that should work. A medical director who's competent, and who is made competent largely by how we do administrative work, should be able to handle this. Okay. I don't want my minister at Ridge every day for incidents, because this is not a ministerial level incident. Trust me.
Very well.
And I think that in support of the healthcare workers, let me state this here, the media, with all due respect, also have to help in the sense that our bed capacities in this country woefully inadequate. And I won't blame it on one administration per se, but I really think that a lot needs to be done. I struggle every day, and let me say it here, when I have a case and I need to refer to the likes of Rage, the likes of 37, the likes of Kolebu, and this is a time bomb. I even say that don't get sick on weekends in Ghana, because if you get sick on weekends, you are in deep trouble.
Really?
Trust me, because a lot of the staff strength is down during weekends, which shouldn't be the case. And I really think that Ghana needs to move to where doctors are positioned outside of these major hospitals. You have about 20 obstetricians at Kolebu, only 2 of them are doing the surgeries. Whilst we could station them, in other jurisdictions to reduce the pressure on the regional facilities. I mean, we really need to do an overhaul of our thinking. The human resource is there, but how we are doing it, okay? And there's so many unnecessary politics when it comes to deploying these people and giving them the appropriate quantum of remuneration to make moving out of Kolebu acceptable by some of these doctors. So you've done well, PRO, but I think that we should look at it from a systemic approach. We can't be putting our fires as a minister.
Great.
And by virtue of the closeness of Ridge to the MOH, it doesn't mean that Ridge Hospital is run by the ministry or the minister.
I see. Andrew is here. He's a legal practitioner, serious views on other things, but I'll come to him. You are the regional chairman of the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association. Doctor here has spoken about systemic issues. The Registered Nurses and Midwives Association issued a statement, tone very stern, wanting to put down their tools or lay down their tools, laying the blame squarely at the feet of the minister, etc. What did you seek to communicate in your communication or in your statement to the public?
Thank you very much, and a very good morning to my dear nurses and midwives and to every Ghanaian. And before I will want to go on, I want to put on record that this information is to every nurse. At any point in time when you feel that the environment in which you work is not safe, please take yourself out of that environment.
Which means what?
The
They should
Labor,
go home?
the Labor Act states that, and it's explicit that an environment that it will be harmful to you, you take yourself off it. Not necessarily.
So that's a general point. Just to be clear, that's a general point.
That's a general point.
They went
not
to work.
Necessarily go home.
They went to work.
Yes.
Were working normally, and an incident happened.
This is not one of its kind.
Okay.
It's rich. This year we've had not less than 5 where nurses were attacked at rich. So this is not one of its kind.
So you're saying that they shouldn't go to work then again at Ridge?
No, that's not what I'm saying. If you feel that environment at the moment you are working is not safe, put yourself out of that environment.
In this case in point, what could they have done?
The nurse in question, when he assumed that you have 50 rowdy men at the small space of the emergency and you still stand there to work, they can kill you. Yes, they can kill you. And that is what have happened to the rotation nurse who has not been paid for 8 months and right now on the treatment bed. What crime did she commit?
I see. Yes, so that is a subject of investigation.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
it's a subject of investigation
Yes.
and all of that,
So
which we'll delve into. But you mentioned the fact that it is not the first time this is happening in Ridge.
Yes.
What time period? Within what time period? You said this year?
1 year, yes, sure.
Yes. So the point is, should we be looking at Ridge again?
No, not only Ridge. We have incidents across.
Because we've had many complaints and concerns.
We have incidents across.
From Ridge especially.
Not necessarily this year, but it's a continuous.
Yeah, but the bigger point I'm making is that if about 5 of these incidents have happened in Ridge alone this year,
sure,
then it calls for some better or some more scrutiny of the place itself.
Exactly.
And as an ordinary user of healthcare or consumer of healthcare, we've heard a lot of stories about Ridge. The facility looks beautiful. People tell us to go beyond the beauty of the place and see really what happens.
Right.
So for you to tell me that 5 of similar incidents, these things have happened in Ridge alone, of course, once in a while we'll hear it at other places, even private places. But that is huge, that some of these things will happen at Ridge alone. You don't find anything wrong with that? So that you as a healthcare professional with colleagues there, you begin to have conversations with them that no, I think you have to begin looking at your systems and how you deal with things. You don't think so?
There's everything wrong with it. And the reason why we have a problem, we have said that we have systemic issues because you can't necessarily provide human beings there. Health service delivery is not only about the person there. It comes with logistics, equipment, things the person needs to work. I was very happy the document you referred to, the Ministry of Health emergency document. It states categorically things you need to provide at the emergency unit. Let us go to Ridge, emergency, the trauma unit, the triage, and all the emergency, and see if those equipments are there. You will virtually improvise everything you need to work on the client. That will delay you. the client will not be satisfied with
But
the
this is a
provision.
general situation. It's not peculiar to Ridge. This is a situation across the
And
country.
so if we do not seek to solve that problems, this incident will not stop.
Very well, I understand that. But I'm saying that this incident cuts across the country.
Exactly.
Why are we not seeing the same maybe at Kaneshi
It is
or
happening
Adabraka?
everywhere,
No,
I
I'm
said
saying
it.
the frequency at Adabraka
There are
Polyclinic.
places experience much more than Ridge. Yes. Tama General, Nima, what do you call it? Mamobi. They experiences worse situation than Ridge.
So okay.
We are only fortunate that there is a video out there that Ghanaians are concerned about. But we are experiencing much worse scenarios than what happened at Ridge.
I see.
But in a case where at times people come, there is no bed, and they tend to beat a nurse because there's no bed. Does the nurse provide a bed or buys a bed? And you go to media stations and people will be insulting health providers, doctors, nurses, and we working in that space that I went there and they said there's no bed. Who provides those beds?
Yes. So I mean, yes, you are dealing with a matter, but you are dealing with it from a certain point of view.
Our
And so
view is
what I'm saying is
the ministry has
so
not helped in solving that issue. So you don't go hugging, merrymaking, cheersing with the person. We are not the cause of that problem. Your ministry is.
So if the minister hadn't come there, but only sent maybe Tony Goodman there, the situation would have been
We
different.
don't have a problem when the minister came there. We don't have a problem. At least as a leader, he came to see what happened. I was there when he saw the nurse in question. I'm very happy.
Do you work at the Ridge Hospital?
I don't work at the
but you were
hospital.
there.
I was there. Immediately the issue happened on the Monday. I was there the whole day of Monday, the whole day of Tuesday, just to make sure that there is some sort of provision of security for the nurses, because when we met them, they could tell us that they are not in their right frame of mind to be even working.
Let's be clear about the timelines. Tony, you said the incident happened on a Sunday.
Sunday,
so
7:45.
So how come?
To
So the minister
9:45.
went there on a Monday.
Yes.
So the gentleman, after causing the so-called chaos on the Sunday,
He was there on Monday.
came back on Monday.
He was there on Monday. He was there on Tuesday. I said I was there.
for healthcare.
No, not for healthcare. He was roaming around in the emergency. Even where the nurse was admitted, he came there, and you could see stress, like fear in the eyes
No,
of
but
the nurse.
why should he come there?
That is our question.
That's what.
That is exactly what we are asking. Why should the guy even have the audacity to
come
enter
back to
that
the-
area?
No.
And we questioned the director. He
Yes.
said he has reported it. It is the reason we are not happy about the actions of the minister. Not
No, wait.
not he
All
coming
these
there.
things came after the actions of the minister.
Yes, we
so
have called for the arrest of the guy.
Yes,
I
so-
personally met the
Yeah,
director.
let
of the hospital.
me direct the question.
Yes.
So all these happened after a lot of the actions were taken, and I'll come to you. A lot of the actions happened after the so-called engagement of the minister with the gentleman. After that, Tony Goodman makes us understand that a statement was issued condemning the incident. There was a conversation with IGP to provide security at the hospital, and all of those were done. And you're saying that after all those things were done, security involved, police, etc., statement issued condemning it, etc., this gentleman came back to the hospital on Tuesday.
Yes.
So where was the police, Tony? Where was the police and all of that?
I told you I was there on Monday, the whole of Monday. I left Ridge at
What did he
7
come to do there on
7
Tuesday?
p.m. It's a question we also need to be asking. I left there 7 p.m. The whole of Tuesday, I was there. When the minister came, after the minister had even left, this guy was there. The guy was there. There was no police presence on Monday. There was no police presence.
There was. I was.
I was
No,
there. It was only-
but there's a police
it
post.
was- it was-
Yes.
But
But there's a police post at the hospital.
At the entrance
I
of the
said
hospital.
There's a
I,
police
I
post there.
was there from Monday, the whole day. Monday, I left Ridge at 7. The police presence was when the minister came.
No.
The
Maybe
police
you were not
presence-
there. I went there on Tuesday.
If you allow me to talk,
Yes,
the
just
police
go down.
presence,
No, wait.
the police
No, that
presence
point.
was when the minister came, and they left with the minister. We went to the director, complained with the director that if they do not provide police presence there, we are going to ask our nurses to leave the premises. He said that what you are saying is true. I do not trust. I'm paraphrasing the director. We do not trust our internal security to help us. But
In terms of their strength. and they know how.
Security, yeah,
They don't trust them. He doesn't
security,
trust them
like
in terms of
competency.
their competence or know-how.
Exactly.
Okay.
To protect them, he has reported to the police at
Ridge or Nima?
Adabraka police. So he doesn't even know why they are not here. This is what the director said. And I said, you see, this is a matter of urgency that something should, at least those working there at that moment should feel that they are safe to work in that space. He said, but there's nothing much I could do. That is where we feel that, no, if you think you so much care, it shouldn't be about PR work, going to issue statements. It should be about pragmatic steps.
Okay,
if
so wait,
about
so the minister,
statement,
fine.
that one,
the statement is important.
Exactly.
Okay, it's important. So that statement was issued.
we don't see that as much as important as providing security.
It's not an either or.
That-
It's not an either or situation. A statement was issued, and from what Goodman is saying, the minister had a conversation with the IGP.
A letter was sent to regional command.
Okay, so we are hearing
The
that a letter was
incident
sent.
happened on Sunday.
A letter was sent to the IGP. We are seeing all of this post the minister's visit.
Yes.
So the handshake, all of those things happened.
Was Monday.
Post the minister's visit, yes.
Tuesday, the whole of Tuesday, there was no police presence.
I was enraged. I'm a member of the committee investigating the matter. I was enraged. Nima police van was stationed at Ridge.
The
see.
investigation
No, that's what he's saying.
started
Yes, I
at
was
what
enraged.
time?
And then
Did
later,
it-
let me
if you
clarify.
remember.
Wait,
No, let me
so Goodman,
clarify
wait.
this police-
When
this
did,
police
so I'm hearing
issue.
for the first time, a member of the committee. That's
Yes.
great. So when did when did you guys start meeting? When was the committee? The committee was formed there and then at
Yes.
Ridge. And when did you
On
guys start
Tuesday,
meeting?
we were there.
You started
Tuesday,
meeting
they
on
started
Tuesday.
around 6 p.m.
You started at 6 p.m. Is that correct?
At the time,
No, but the point is making is that
Tuesday we
the
were
whole
there.
day.
I was there.
No, wait,
I was there the whole day Tuesday.
But the committee started meeting at 6 p.m.
Yes,
And you're
6
telling
p.m.
us that when you were
By
there the
6
whole
p.m.,
day,
the
the
letter-
police guys were there. The
Yes.
police officers were there.
Nima.
Where were they
Written
stationed?
on the at the
Where
entrance.
were they stationed?
At the entrance of the what do we call emergency?
No, you see, let us not pretend like we are doing the work.
Jefferson, let's take it easy. Jefferson,
I
take
saw
it easy.
them. My office is just how many minutes to reach? I saw them parked there. This Mahindra vehicle written on the Nima patrol team.
No, but
Why would I
Tony,
lie if
it's
I
one
was
thing the
there?
police being there. It's another thing they do.
No, so let me explain what happened.
Okay.
Then they were there up to a point, around 5, thereabout, and they informed the medical director that what they want to do now is to patrol the whole area. They want to now patrol the Ridge area. That any time they are called, they would come. However, they have plainclothes men around that area. I don't know what
The gentleman penetrated the police
Yes. So,
barricade.
let me complete. So I said they apprehended the guy he came with.
Yeah, that's what
I was there.
So you were there.
I was there.
So when he came with the guy, so who apprehended the guy? So you said you didn't see police, but I said you were there.
So when was apprehension or arrest done?
The apprehension was done
on the Monday or Tuesday?
on Monday between the hours of 4.
So the minister left there.
The minister had left.
Yes.
The apprehension
so
was.
who authorized that? You said the minister hasn't done it. Who authorized
I
it?
have never said in
Wait,
any
so
of my
the- so the
statements
point
that the
then is
minister
that-
had
wait,
not done
So you
it.
said you only issue a statement.
No,
You just said
no,
it.
Tony, allow me.
And the minister
Tony,
only.
you
if
will
it's
not
just-
wait,
if
you
it's
will
the
not
minister-
misquote
you said the
them.
minister-
I
the
have-
statement is-
Tony, I heard both of
I'm
you.
clear
Tony,
in my mind
issue of
what
the
I am
statement.
Jefferson,
communicating.
Tony, I heard both of you.
I'm
So
clear in my mind what I'm communicating.
Look,
So that is not
we're
what
also
I
hearing.
said.
So
Yes,
the point
sir.
we're making is that.
Yes.
So indeed, when the minister left, there was police presence, and the police arrested the gentleman, the suspect, the gentleman he came with. The arrest was made at the hospital.
The arrest was made at the hospital. I don't understand when you say there was police presence.
No, but police arrested him at the
The police
hospital.
came in, arrested the guy,
And left.
and they left.
Really? So they
Yes.
arrested the suspect, the guy who came,
And
but the
they left.
main
There
guy.
was no police
They didn't
presence.
find him there.
No, yes.
All
The
right.
police came. The police came,
area.
arrested. They came. I saw with. I have pictures, everything. The police came, arrested that guy, and they left.
But they didn't see the rough guy.
No.
But you said he was in the hospital. He had left then.
Immediately, Rap entered the vehicle plus that lady who was pushing the infusion. Immediately, the guy sat in the car, left, and the police came. Immediately. I don't know if they were even communicating. I can't tell. Because
No,
the
we
scene
don't
was
know
bizarre.
that. That connection, I'm not sure.
The scene was bizarre because
The guy left and the police came and they picked out somebody else.
immediately the police left. This same guy came back.
He came back. So the guy at the house had intelligence.
That
All right, so
one,
just
I am not an intelligent person to say it, but as a unionist who have nurses and midwives at heart and believe
you are
that
concerned
Ghana,
by that optics.
yes, and believe that Ghana should be working without the PR, but real case resolving. I don't think that should have been the how we should
Very
have
well.
gone about it.
Just hang in there. So, Andrew, we are not health professionals. So these are health people. So, I mean, looking at all of this, putting on all the numerous hats you have, what's your thinking around this?
Yeah, so let me wish our lovely viewers a good morning. Wish my dog friend, former party member, a good morning. And
you had to say that.
Yeah, I had to say that. And my two friends here, a good morning. In fact, I want to put on record that I stand on all fours, 100%. Okay. On record with the position of dog, because clearly it's a systemic. As in, you can't go beyond that. If you haven't understood this green, red, orange thing, the first question is, then how did the RAF guy even enter the emergency place in the first place? He shouldn't have been there. I think that position has to be made clear. And the question is, if that's the case, how did he get there? I mean, that there's a problem with the hospital's security itself. Two, this issue, and that's in line with a systemic failure. And I think the systemic failure isn't just with regards to the hospital itself, but with the entire system. Yes. Because the question, must the minister call the police before they effect an arrest? Because without even going into the nitty-gritties of the case, there's an alleged assault, which is a crime. There's an alleged, disturbing the public peace, which is an offense. Must it take the minister to call the police? Because like I'm saying, I'm not a security person, but I saw the videos, I think on Monday. It was everywhere, you understand? Immediately, without minister. Now, also, when I listen to Tony, and I've been listening to, City is my station, so I listened to the interview where he was commending. Now, when he was speaking right now, he said they went there, and then they realized that the morale was low. That's why the minister came. So the purpose of the minister coming there was to lift the spirits. There again, I saw all force with what? One. So it doesn't happen on Sunday, 7 a.m. 7 a.m. The Minister of Health, you want to tell me that for 24 hours, you did not have any briefing as to who caused it? You didn't have any briefing. And then your actions, and I watched the video, beyond the hugging, after he was even seen on the video patting the back of the gentleman. So if his purpose was to go and raise the morale of the people, then the actions he took, and as a seasoned politician, he ought to understand, because the job of a politician is not just to be shaking hands. Because if you went there to raise the morale of the people, and then even after you were told that this is the perpetrator, because I saw the video and the period between the hugging and the later the shaking and the patting of hands and then the shaking again, because there was another shaking of the button, was enough. And I think if you were the video at that time, my good friend had told me that this is the guy. Now, so to shake him was to signal to the nurses that aside with your aggressor, I guess as against you.
But there are two sides to an issue. So if the nurses have complained about something, didn't he have to hear from the other side?
So 24 hours, you didn't see the video.
But you don't know what caused it. Of course, you can't justify it wrong.
There cannot be exactly. So I think you have answered your own question. There cannot be a justification for why you go and cause this mayhem. Because already the doctor told us that in the emergency room or in the emergency area, everybody is at a different level. They are not as normal as we sit here, and that's why per their own system, unless you are red, you are orange, you are not supposed to be there. You get a point. So it cannot be, as in the minister for crying out loud is not a judge who says that, oh, okay, I have to listen. In terms of you're a judge, you are not supposed to be arguing. But for a politician, and for a politician, the understanding is that, contrary to what my brother is, that they shake, you ought to understand the mood and the essence of signals. Because what he did, and I'm sure that's why the nurses are mad, is the signal essence. The signal is sent to people who want to perpetrate this sad happening. But what by hugging him and shaking him, and then by patting his back, the signal you are giving to he, the perpetrator, the nurses and the whole world is that I stand with your aggressor, and don't be happy. Also.
So notwithstanding the fact that after the handshake, he called the police on the gentleman and all of that.
It negates everything. And the fact that the minister had to call the police, and I was saying that the systemic issue...
Yeah, so the systemic issues are there, but we work through the systemic issues. So let's even assume the system is not working, but the minister called the police on the gentleman. That doesn't solve, or that doesn't cure the handshake.
The fact that the nurses are up in arms and they are wild tells you about the lingering impact of the handshake. The fact that he calling the police probably to them and also.
So if the police had arrested, if the gentleman was under arrest now, would he have changed anything?
It wouldn't have changed the view that the
minister shook hands with him, but later caused his arrest. It wouldn't have changed anything.
There was nothing wrong. You see, the minister rather should have shown him. I don't know, I can't shake you. Seriously, I can't shake you. You can't be doing this. After you shake him after you are told. Then because right now you just watch it. You see the Mr. Party. Even look at how he's looking at him, smiling and
admiration.
Yeah, exactly. What kind of signal are you sending? And so some of us in some other jurisdictions, the honorable minister would have resigned, especially when there are big issues with our health sector. You see, this thing about our ministers doing this firefight approach ought to stop. The eye service is too much. Because at the ministerial level, your job is to handle the policy issues and drive policies. Right now, we all know the problems with our health sector. There are real problems there. There are like a lack of beds. What strategy? What policy are you putting in place? Clearly, there's a need for serious private sector what's called investment there. I think I recommend you sometime on another platform where you spoke about even the salary levels of the health workers. There are real problems that need real thinking. Exactly. People are poaching.
It doesn't make our case good.
Exactly. You understand? And the minister, because. So what does it mean? So supposing there are about 10 of these issues, supposing there are about 10 of these issues scattered across the country, and from what my nurse is saying, it's possible. So what the minister will just be jumping. No, we need to create strong institutions. We need to create strong administrative institutions within our hospitals, so that they have directors, they have their own structures, their own organizations. Why can't they handle? Why would they? Or it was for the normal photo.
Opportunity.
We need to be serious. So for me, I think I understand my brother. He's the PR. Probably he. But oh, sorry, you're director of Conseil.
No, I'm a director
spokesperson of the minister. So you have but the reason why the city guys on that day were so, as in they were shocked, and I stood on all forces with. I listened to some men. I stood on all forces with their position, because you shouldn't be calling for the commendation of the minister when clearly, I think with all his political experience, he made a bit. Well, it's a signal. The problem is the signal he sends. The signal he sends is, in spite of the fact that you have been transgressed against, I stand by your aggressor. And you see, I don't know, also for Ralph, I know Ralph personally, I think I've met him once. I don't know what his focus is here. Is it activism? Because this isn't activism.
Because he went there with a situation.
Exactly.
And he felt, from what he said, that he was not attended to in time. And so he wanted to shake the system, that the system was not working. The systemic issues, the system was not working. You know,
the
system was not working.
And then you go there on Sunday to go and cause this mayhem. You go there on Monday, you go there on Tuesday, you go there on Wednesday. Come on, this is not activism.
It's what?
I think I'll take the voice of my learned doctor, psychotic. This is not because
no, you know that there's a notion by the younger generation. Of course, everybody we've also said around this table that it's a systemic problem, which in other words means that the system is not working.
Yeah.
So the young people perhaps are frustrated because they've seen things in movies, they've seen how things work, they've read books, they've read other things, and they expect the system to work a certain way. And they feel that people are lackadaisical, they are sluggish, they are lazy. You are supposed to be doing this. The people are lying, they're screaming in distress. They don't see any action from you. So they feel they have to they have to do something. That doing something could be in excess or could be wrong. But they feel something must work to shake up the system.
Listen, we often don't feel it, but the reason why
that's what activism is.
But the reason why I've driven all the way from my house here is because we feel the system.
And the system has worked. So what you are doing is also shaking the system.
Yes, but I'm not
violent.
Yeah, but I'm not breaching.
It has to be managed.
But you see, you also said that when people enter the hospital, they are not. It's not a happy place. So people are distressed, people are frustrated. Yeah. So here's a gentleman, I'm not holding brief for him, I've condemned him on other programs. He walks in there frustrated, you may say it's lacerations, but perhaps he was in deep pain and he didn't even know what was happening to him, perhaps. And he expected some kind of response from the health workers. Yeah. That response was not
Let me come in here. Listen, 100% patients have rights. Healthcare workers also have rights. We both have to work hand in hand to get your healthcare delivery where it should be. So what we need to, the take home today is that in as much as patients have rights, health professionals too have rights. You cannot infringe on my rights because you think I owe you a service. After all, a doctor can decline to serve you. He has every right to say that by virtue of the fact that you are doing this and that, he declines. I have every right to do that. So let me just use this opportunity. Ghana has a major problem, admittedly. And let me also add that, unfortunately, Ghana's healthcare, we don't have billionaires supporting it. I mean, elsewhere, the Elon Musk and things would come in heavy and build and have wards named after them. We don't have that culture here in Ghana. And I must also admit that healthcare solutions will not be only government driven. And this country needs to look at that angle. Healthcare in many countries supported by foundations, supported by government to some extent, and that is what Ghana also needs to look at. All of the solutions will not necessarily be just governmental. And I think that largely we've over-focused on just governmental, and we need to make a case. Alumni have to come in. I always say that, our schools are not doing well because alumni are not as a major role in all of this. So to borrow from Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo, fellow Ghanaians, this was an eyesore of international proportion, very bad. I cannot support this gentleman's action. He rather put many more patients at risk. And for that reason, I think that very serious legal consequences must be measured to him, meted out to him. And in concluding, I also support again the police inaction are unacceptable. I've said in many jurisdictions that I don't want president to call IGP to do what IGP is supposed to do. And when an issue happens in my region or my district, I don't need a Superman to get things right. So I'm hoping, in support of the nurses and midwifery and the doctors, that this gentleman should be brought in for questioning. And not investigative bodies. The gentleman in question and his rights should be read to him, and he should be made to pay some fine, very serious fine, for this. And I think that, forgive me, his actions in other scenarios, I'm surprised he hasn't been cautioned. Or if he's been cautioned.
The gentleman?
His
no, they can't find him, or?
Oh,
I don't know. They have to find him.
He can't be missing.
They have to find him first.
I mean, he can't be missing. You know, so these are quite troubling. If the IGP today wants to tell me that this social activist, who we all know where his house is and all of that, they can't find
then
him,
you can help the police.
then it's
you can
troubling.
assist.
In fact, it's troubling. So Selorm, I think that let's encourage our nurses, and I don't want a Rambo-style minister. I want somebody who is at work doing a systems approach, and he shouldn't be putting out.
Let me take a few of the messages that have come through. Good morning, Selorm. The Honourable Minister must live above board. He should stop getting involved in such cases in hospitals. Ridge Hospital has a CEO and hospital management board. If there is an assault, it is the responsibility of the hospital management to call the police, not the minister. Kweku in La Paz sent that in. Kweku in Kwabenya says that in the case of the minister going to Ridge Hospital and shaking the hand and talking to the attacker, people should know that the minister should be in a neutral position. He should not take sides and listen to both, and he must listen to both sides and leave the police to do their job. I've watched the video many times, and I don't see anything wrong with what he did. I've been in the situation many times, being a retired nurse supervisor from the US, and I would have done the same. You'll be surprised with info you get talking to both sides nicely. This one with no name says, criminals are cracked down not by anger and violence, but with intelligence and friendly manners. Democracy is indeed not a friendly thing in Africa. Not quite clear, but yeah, so that's it. All right, so the issue about security generally at our hospitals has come up for discussion. You know, the minister, in addressing the matter, said a few things. This is what the minister, Minta Akando, said in respect of security at the hospitals.
What he told me was that, Mr. Minister, I'll come to the office and tell you my side of the story. And indeed, he came to the office. Those who work here will maybe... And in fact, let me tell you the coincidence. The reason why people think, and I have heard this one too, that it was managed, it was staged. How did the guy meet the minister at the same time at the place? What really happened, I didn't know. It was after the incident that I heard that the gentleman came to the ministry looking for me at that time. And they told him I had gone to the hospital. And so he followed up to the hospital. So that's the coincidence, that's what really happened. The various health facilities, the security measures we are putting in place. You see, when issues of this nature come, it defines policy directions. And so we already, at every health facility, we have some sort of security arrangement everywhere, the district hospitals, the regional hospitals. But this has given a cause for reviewing the various securities at the various health facilities. And so the Director General with my able CEOs will look at reviewing and then establish that connection between our health facilities and the police in the various districts or at the various destinations in the country, so that at any given point in time. My last words. One, I've made this point more than 5 times in my submission. One, nobody has the right to attack any health professional. Let's show sympathy towards them. Let's understand them. They work under in some cases, obscure conditions. And they're also human beings. So please, let us not make it normal, that it is normal to attack a health professional once he or she is not giving you the right attention. That's my first one. The last, let me humbly also appeal to the health professionals that the patients, the ordinary Ghanaian, they are our clients. So let's try to communicate with them at any given time, whatever is going on when they come to the health facilities. Let's communicate. They don't understand the work we do as health professionals. But I believe that when we begin to communicate with them, they will understand and appreciate what we go through.
All right, so that was the minister, Minta Kando. He's been addressing a number of issues. He had a press conference a couple of days ago, and that's one of the things he said. So security at the hospital, Jefferson, you are a nurse and you are a union leader. What should be the approach? How should we protect our hospitals and health workers? How do we do that? Do we deploy police people there? Have we gotten to a place where police people must be on guard at hospital facilities as if they are looking for somebody to arrest? Or, what's the approach? Should be the approach?
All right, thank you very much. We don't advocate that police should be at a hospital with us. That is not what we are saying. But at least there's supposed to be some level of protection that on a blink of call, the police should be there to calm situation. That is what we are requesting. The internal security measures should be heightened, where they know what to do, who to allow in the emergency, and where to direct them. That's supposed to be done, because you can't leave the nurse to be doing that direction. What is our nurse to patient ratio in Ghana? 1 to 846 in Ghana. So if we are looking for a perfect system, you don't leave this overburdened nurse now to be directing, go here, come there. No, that can be done. So there's supposed to be system placed out there. The police should be a buffer. They should be a bit on call. That immediately there is such an incident, you just press a button and they are in to calm that situation. Not the police station at the emergencies with us. That's
But
not
the
what
police,
we are calling.
people can argue that in the case of rage, the police can be said to be on call. There's a police post at the entrance of the hospital. What is the purpose there?
On call is per action, not the.
No, but the police are there.
Action. What action did they take? That is what we are saying. On call, you need to take action. You need to be seen working. It's not about we can get police even at any point. Kolebu, it does happen. If we have police at Kolebu and we are not seeing the action of protection, calming down situation, you are just as, even if you are not there, that is important.
To help you, before 9/11, hardly would you see police at airport. But times have changed. Yeah. And in fact, when you go to Washington, D.C. today, you'll be surprised by the armory that people have at the airport. So there's a turning point here. And I think that based on these happenstance, it calls for even police training about handling healthcare security. And I side with him in the sense that it is not just by your presence. What intel are you picking?
So it means the police themselves, because for me, having a police post at the entrance of the hospital should be enough. So the police must also do their work.
Listen, we've seen people beat up people in front of police stations. No, I mean, let's be frank about it. And police will just walk by. I'm just being straight with you.
So the whole system is not working.
So I really think that, the training needs to be upped for policing in this country. And I'm becoming more troubled by the fact that people of high office have to call police to take actions that are not, are straightforward. Somebody beats up his wife. Do you need somebody to call IGP? No. There's a process that is known and should be enforced, regardless of who the individuals are. So I'm becoming troubled by the fact that incidents happen and somebody has to call somebody. Then that kind of a system will not work in this country. So all, people involved, and I beg to differ in the sense that we need to empower our CEOs, we need to empower our directors, or train them on how to manage these things moving forward. I mean, a cannot be at the,
cannot be
every regional
at
hospital.
The same time.
No, so I'm hoping that,
I don't know, maybe because he's a former member of parliament, you've given him enough time.
So that is your turn now.
It's your turn.
And then that's every opportunity is a candor. Let me state on record that you have first asked that if it's elsewhere, you would have resigned by now. No. we are talking about a system. He met a system that is near collapse and is trying his best to improve upon the system. We have fine protocols, procedures, laws, and what have you in this country. But it is the human intervention that is creating the problem. So he has decided to be going to some of those.
What do you mean by
places.
human intervention?
To even call, to even file a case or to even call a police to do something, you must call some big ones. So the systems are there, but the human intervention, somebody must do something before it. Well, if I go to police station and I have issue, the police should follow me and go and arrest or do something. Why should, or somebody is arrested?
So that's exactly the point he's making, that
Yes.
he's becoming troubled by people, big men calling police to do what they have to do.
Yes. So I'm saying that you have the system, but the human intervention.
Okay, so the point is that he called the police because that system too is not working.
It's not
and
working.
Somebody had to
has to
push
do something, has
yeah.
to operationalize that system. So the minister has decided that every hospital he feels that, or he's taken interest in or has received complaint, he will go there.
I saw him at the Achimota Hospital interacting
Yes, and
with
we
people,
believe that he's doing well by doing that. And it's not time to say that he should have resigned by now if it's elsewhere.
But do you agree that
what he's done for us in the ministry, we believe that he's done well. Yes, I can, because like he said, he should have asked his medical director to handle the issue. And then when they go on strike, when the workers go on strike, before he comes in, no. He decided to just nip that at the back, went there himself to deal with the issue. So, and then he said there was some security breach when the minister got there. He's a politician. The people he's greeted. You can't say this is a threat or not. For politicians, you greet everybody, anybody, any hard people in public. That is your trait. You don't need any security to tell you that the one in front is good. Go and shake.
So you don't agree that the way he handled the situation sent wrong signals?
No, there is no wrong signal. It is the wrong signal was sent by the nurses. I believe that in the tripartite, where you have let me finish. In the tripartite, you have the minister here, you have the staff here, and then you have the trade union here. The two of us are to look after the welfare of this person. And then there is an issue. The minister went there first. You said you were there. What did you do? The minister has actually directed that the phone.
I didn't go
let me finish. The phone is given to this lady. He's made sure that the amount of money missing was returned. He said he's providing medical care. The association, what have you done?
You said he's providing, the minister says he's providing medical care. He's giving the phone
what
to the
have
lady.
they done?
The person had
The
been worked
welfare,
for 8 months.
the
The
welfare,
minister haven't
no.
even paid the person.
That's a system. That's a system. That's a system. And we've had cause to complain about people, even doctors, nurses, teachers working for 8 months, 1 year, when they start working, before they are paid. It's a bad system.
18 months.
Yes.
They paid me only 3 months.
Yeah, so that's a systemic problem. That's a systemic problem.
We are looking for quality care with this
Jefferson,
kind of
I think I'm mixing the issues. This system predated a lot of us. We have to change it, but we don't change it in one day. So if you want this minister to have changed that before resolving, then that's a problem. You understand that?
But it
so
shouldn't
I'm
be
saying
PR work.
I'm saying that to say that
what is this about this PR work?
Jefferson,
PR
to say that the person is worked for 8 months, is not being paid, and you're giving the person a phone. Yeah, it may sound nice, but it may not be dealing with the root of the problem.
Exactly.
This minister didn't cause the 8 months salary thing.
No.
It's been there. Doctors suffer it, teachers suffer it, nurses suffer it.
The nurses started working in 2024.
Yeah, we want it stopped. But to bring in that in making a point in this particular matter, we'll be throwing it wide. Then we will not finish. You understand? Yes. So go ahead.
Yes. So and then he said, Tony is I'm part of the situation, so I'm not fit to actually.
No. What it means is that you have an interest.
Sell on my head. Interest in making sure that the health of the Ghanaian is actually provided, in making sure that the health system is strengthened. That is the interest. So if there is a problem, I have the mandate to speak to Ghanaians and let them know what is happening. So to say that I'm complicit, so I don't need to talk, I don't agree with him. The other matter, bed capacity. Bernard, if you have 1 million bed, if you have, sorry.
I've learned.
If you have 1 million beds in a hospital, you will still have people will be rushed there and we won't have bed for them. What we should be dealing with now is our lifestyle, educate people for us to visit hospital, check ourselves before we are rushed to hospitals. We were talking about beds. I remember 2009, 2008, we were talking about beds. We've bought a lot of beds. We still have issues. What we need to do as a country, both past and present government have contributed to the number of beds we had in the past, but we still have issues. We need to look at the way we behave, our lifestyle.
Preventive.
Yes. Do some periodic checkup. Rejig the system where we have appointment system. That is what the minister proposed recently. We don't all need to rush in the hospital in the morning and then by 2 o'clock we are coming back. Let's look at that. The minister is currently discussing that with the Ghana Health Service to actually deal with that. The last time we had equipment replacements in this country was in 2014. 2014, after 2014, under the Bellstar project where we bought 260 million equipment for hospitals. We've not had any major retooling of the hospitals. So the minister has begun another one. Very soon we are taking delivery of some equipment and start donating to the hospital. He has said that government alone cannot provide these logistics or the needed logistics to the people of this country. We need to go into PPP arrangement. That is what we are looking at currently, PPP arrangement. Because we've bought, anytime you buy the equipment, the next time you go, they are no more there. It's either they are obsolete or some equipment or some parts have been removed and fixed somewhere and all that. So the policy now is that as government is augmenting what we have, we want to go into a PPP arrangement, and the policy is currently being developed. We believe that that is what will help. Let's not forget that the healthcare system we are talking about, it is this same government that has provided the chunk of resource into actually this in this country. The regional hospital we are talking about, that is the phase 1. The phase 2 got stalled when after 2016. If we had put in place a lot of, or the phase 2, we would have had a lot of beds there. So when we are discussing some of those issues, let's take away the peripherals and deal with the matter, and then at the end of the day, I'm sure we will make headway.
So the committee, when are you to present your report? What are your terms of
We
reference?
have
really?
completed our work.
You've completed the work already?
Yes, yesterday we finished our work. We're supposed to submit
that's
the
quick.
document.
You were given 1 week.
Yes.
And you finished in...
We need to do our preliminary investigation and submit that document to the minister first. And that is done. We got the lawyer, Raf's lawyer, submitting their response, including some evidence, which is a video footage. Downloaded it took a bit of a time, so we'll submit it to the minister by Monday.
Okay. The minister said at the press conference that the issue of the assault was also to be investigated, whether the lady indeed was assaulted or not. I've heard many people say that they've not seen any video because there were videos all over the place. And so if indeed the assault, as is being complained about, it's a lot of tags pounced on her, beat her to pulp, etc. If that was the case really, at least we should have seen a video footage. Did your committee probe that, and did you see any such video? And what, not to tell me exactly what is in the report, but what did you see in respect of that?
No, we've received a lot of reports. We've also seen some footages. We've looked into the CCTV cameras of the facility, and then we have spoken to the lady, spoken with those around, the nurses around, the nurse in charge, the lady in question, not the lady who was beaten, the one who actually had the exchanges with Raf. We've spoken with them, and we have come to some conclusion, and I'm sure by Monday that will be given to the minister.
So the lady, we understand, is on admission. You can confirm that?
Yes, it's currently on admission. We've been to her bedside severally. We've spoken to her. When the minister went there, we actually met her. It's indicated the various bruises she had on her hand and all that. So for now, to say that you don't believe whether she was beaten or not, it's not even not part of the equation. That 50 men just entered an emergency area, disrupted service, engaged in some hooligan. That is what we should be talking about.
So the point is, so your committee...
the lawyer will tell you about assault and battery and the rest. So if you go there, then
your committee can confirm that indeed there are about 50 thugs who entered the emergency.
Oh yes, the video footages we are reviewing.
Did you also confirm the lady being beaten? Because people outside have said no video of that sort.
Maybe use the word manhandled.
Manhandled. Okay. Because we understand she was beaten to pulp. But can you confirm that?
No, according to her, about 8 guys pounced on her. Some hit the back, others at the front till she kneeled to the ground and then shouted, "Doctor, then So when the attention, when they turn on the doctor, she quickly entered the room and locked. So that is her account.
But was this captured on video?
No,
CCTV camera?
No, that's her account. That's her account.
Okay, and others corroborated that account?
Yes.
Okay, so what would the committee recommend really? Security obviously should be one of those matters.
Selorm, don't forget my journalism cap is still up. So you.
I also need to add that there should be some counseling service for the entire.
Did you recommend that counseling service, or will you recommend counseling service for the people involved?
Oh yes, we'll definitely recommend counseling service.
I see. That's interesting. There's a suit. I want to understand what.
Not only counseling, psychological therapy actually.
It's all under the counseling. We are laymen, so.
When you look at, Doc mentioned security and then the police. When the minister got there earlier, the medical director, as he alluded to, mentioned that they've had these incidents at the emergency area, OPD, and then the morgue area. So entry and exit. At times people will come, we don't want any postmortem, we want our body. Giddy. So
we know the people.
We don't know them. People. So he proposed that we have some minimal police protection at the entrance and then the morgue area. So it's one of the things we are looking at, as you said. If they have actually looked at their internal security as well. But you don't want to go to a hospital and have policemen standing there with gun. If my BP is 70,
and you've committed a crime somewhere.
Yeah. So it is just something we need to look out for. But we should not actually go to hospital to go and attack people in the hospital.
Great.
It should be the last place we want to go and show machoism and all that.
I will come to Jefferson on a matter that many people have discussed. But there's a suit. The lady is taking out a suit against Raf. I want the lawyer here to help us appreciate what the lady is asking by way of reliefs from the court. Andrew, what's the lady seeking?
So essentially, broadly, she's making 2 broad allegations. One, that they have battered her. Battery, like you rightly said, and battery you all don't need to prove damages. And she's also alleging that Ralph defamed her. Yes. Then beyond that, there are so damages of 5 million for the battery, and then 2 million for the defamation. But then beyond that, beyond beating her, they also told her that they were going to follow them to their houses.
Okay.
Yeah. And so she's seeking. But so she's seeking a perpetual injunction restraining them from coming anywhere within
50 meters.
And then she's also seeking another perpetual injunction restraining the defendant from publishing any further defamatory matter in relation to the plaintiff. And then she wants an order directed at the defendant to retract and apologize for the defamatory statements, and then the normal costs and any other what's called reliefs. That's a very what's called sad but interesting time. But so beyond, I just want to. I think when I listen to you, agree with what my is saying, because if 50 thugs can enter into emergency and cause this mayhem. And there's a system.
No. If you even have 5 policemen standing, 50 men, 50 men, bikers.
Good man, let's see. You see, so because you were saying that, I think it was off air that the system is perfect.
Oh yeah.
So granted, the system is perfect, but clearly the breaches.
No, the health system, but the system is bigger than the health system. Yeah. So police and things.
Did you say the health system?
No, I mean the health. The context. The context.
I work in the ministry.
The context. I think the context of the health system. No, and I was saying is the whole country.
Yeah, but even you, let's say the context was the health system. So can anybody here say that the health system in Ghana is perfect? In fact, the health system is even 20%, and this is not politics. You see, sometimes immediately we reduce this to politics. People want to defend issues. We have a terrible health system here. The fact that we don't, and that's why in my earlier submission, I think I should give what's called Dr. Because what I would have expected from the minister as part of the reset agenda that Ghanaians voted for, was that you be thinking about the policies, because you already said about introducing, it shouldn't just be the government that deals with health. What strategy, what policy are you putting in place to attract that private sector participation? Because it just doesn't happen. In the US and other jurisdictions where private sector are heavily involved in their health system, it just didn't happen per chance. There were deliberate policies by their governments to attract that kind of
arrangement.
So, for me, instead of this firefighting approach, and that's why the minister, we have the minister, but we also have the Ghana Health Services, and we have various departments and institutions. You, the minister, are at the policy stage. What policies, what strategies are you putting in place to ensure
that the policies will take time to be formulated? They will take time to be implemented.
Policy.
No, like you need to talk to the various stakeholders.
You were in a position for 8 years. You saw issues with the health sector. You understand? That's why you called for a reset. You understand? We don't want to wait 8 years because you already understand the problems. So when you are coming with solutions, and we are entering into September. So how long do you need to do your consultation? Already, you just have a 4-year term. You have a 4-year term. The expectation that within that 4-year term, you should be able to formulate the policies, get the buy-in of the people, and start implementing, ensure that you implement it. But if for eight what means so far, by now, even if I don't know, I'm sure you be a seasoned journalist and seasoned, you understand? You have wind of some of these policies. It's not partisan. When you talk about issues concerning our health, our education, for a lot of things, the problems we are dealt with, it shouldn't be reduced to a partisan level. We want to create a society where, you understand. So I beg you, this is not to criticize the minister. At the end of the day, he's just been in power for I think 4 months. Oh, it doesn't matter. But I think the minister
like 6 months.
Like 6 months. So it's not about the minister personally. We shouldn't take this personally. But the point is, there are real problems in our health sector. Beyond what happened, telling us that the system we have in place is not strong enough to handle some of these issues.
Strong enough.
Strong, yes, it's enough. Strong enough.
We have a system. We have a system.
No, but nobody is saying that.
Enough.
But nobody is saying that. I don't think anybody on this table has said that we don't have a system. No, we have a system. But the system is not strong enough to prevent some of these issues. And what our expectations of the minister, because the minister is the agent of the president, essentially. He's using the president's power. And the president is using our powers.
Yes.
And those powers were given to the president to solve our problems. And the expectations, so we have expectations. The expectations that we have of our minister is to do more of the policy, you understand, strategy to solve our problems instead of jumping and
so maybe
and hugging.
So let's say this. So whilst maybe whilst perhaps whilst the policy and all of that strategy and all of that are being crafted, and there are issues, shouldn't we be doing the firefighting whilst dealing with the long-term issues?
In fact, the firefighting then is also evidence of the problems.
Yes,
because we
have the problems we are
I'm coming. So we have Rage Hospital. That Rage Hospital has is board of the people. But they have leaders. They have directors. They have people who are supposed to run Rage Hospital second by second, day by day, minute by years. And all our hospitals have that kind of leadership. Because we are talking about, we don't want a situation where all the powers are centralized at the top. Then we don't. Then why do you have? So we have the hospital with its own management team. Well, is it the case that the minister does not trust the competence of Ridge Hospital? And that's what I'm saying, that when I listened to Jefferson here, he was saying that these issues are issues that they are dealing with Mambo B. So supposing just 4 or even just 2 hospitals on the same day, and it can happen. It was like 9/11, you know, the two on the same day, it can happen. So the minister would suddenly divide himself. No, minister trusts in the structures, in the to deal with it. To do, and in fact, when I listened to my brother here, the minister didn't go because he doubted their ability. They advised the minister that when we went there, morale was down. So and I'm saying that if that was the purpose, if that was the reason why the minister went there, there was the reason being to rouse the morale of the workers. Then
it was otherwise.
The hugging and patting and shaking and admiring.
It was just
admiring.
Ralph. Let me speak to Jefferson on a matter many people, beyond empathizing with the nurses, people also have issues. When you go to the hospitals, sometimes some of the nurses are very rude. Their attitude very repugnant. And it's no more the exception. It is becoming the norm.
Yeah.
You know, they don't care. They are on their phones.
They appear not to care.
They appear not to care. People are there struggling, and they are chatting on their phones. We've had this many times. We've even had personal experiences. These matters must be addressed. Customer service. Perhaps I come to the hospital. I may just have what you would describe as finger lacerations, but I'm in pain. So you have the technical know-how. You know this you are going through is nothing really. It may not kill you. But I'm thinking it could kill me. The way you relate to me may even assure me that, okay, this is fine, we'll deal with you. But you don't mind, you just talk, sneer at me, you don't care, and all of that. That is also a problem. What are you guys, I mean, GRNMA, and all of you in the space, the technical brains in the space, beyond criticizing the minister, etc., what are you yourselves doing to fix this problem? And I'm sure you know this, it has come to your notice, the attitude of some nurses. You know, they are on TikTok, they are on WhatsApp, when they should be working, in the night especially. Like you said, if you go to the hospital on weekends, you are doomed. Nurses are there. People are there. What are you, the unionists, doing to make the public, you know, confident that when they come to the hospital, they will not see some of these things anymore?
Thank you very much. And I think this is something we need to discuss holistically and resolve it.
No, sorry.
Yeah.
Beyond laying blame in terms of numbers and facility and equipment. This is human.
It all comes
No, this is human. If you are sitting there when I'm struggling,
I'm going to answer the question holistically. Sitting there while struggling, I have sat in committees where we have revoked some nurses their license before. I have witnessed some, I've heard some, I've seen documents where some nurses, their documents have been revoked. I mean their license. Okay. Their license for doing these kind of things, negligence and other things. We know, we understand. But here is in a case where they are the same nurses. I'm not speaking for them. They are the same nurses.
I speak for them, so.
I say I do not want to stand for the wrong.
Okay.
No, I don't condone that. They are the same nurses who travel to Saudi. Right now, Saudi is the pack. Saudi Arabia, and they are doing exceptionally well. What is it?
It's an attitude of the Ghanaian. Ghanaians also travel abroad, and they work well. But if it's Ghana, the mentality is that it's Ghana.
So why? So why that problem?
The same nurses work in the private sector. No, the same nurses we are taught, they work in the private sector. They dare not do this there.
Yes.
So you, the leaders, have something to say about that.
We have said that we are always educating. We have been doing a lot of that. We educate, we train customer, whatever, even the curricula. We have been contributing, whatever it is. But if the structure at the facility, the hospital, that is liaised with the ministry, the Ghana Health Service, is not put in proper perspective, no matter the training.
Perspective like what?
Like monitoring, evaluating, and doing all those things to ensure that you are given this task
No,
to
Jefferson,
perform.
You agreed that there's some system in place. The system may not be strong enough.
Yes.
That's the resolution around the table. That there is a system, but it's not strong enough.
Yes.
So the system is there. The structure is there. We have what we call in charge.
Sure.
Yes.
The in charge means he's in charge of, she's in charge, he or she is in charge of nurses.
Yes.
Being in charge means what? Means you are supervising.
Exactly.
So we need to call those guys out. You go to the hospital in the night. It's terrible. People are struggling and they're chatting in their cubicles. On phone.
The context of struggling.
No, I mean,
is-
people are sick, they are in pain.
Yes.
They want somebody to attend to them. Sometimes the people will have to get up, carry the IV things, you know, and go and be looking for nurses.
What
It-
were
it-
the
it should-
nurses
this-
doing? Because I have been in a hospital where we were only 2 on duty taking care of 45, 46 clients before. This case, when it becomes, you will look for me.
No, I'm not
Because
saying.
at the-
You see, what I'm saying
let
is
us- let us
where
see.
the
Until
where
we are able to
where the
identify-
nurses are visibly, they are seen,
Yes.
engaged in other things than the job. They are on their phone. I don't know who they are chatting.
let me come in for him.
Okay, so
let me.
you run a facility.
Let me say that, unfortunately, there are times when you have nurses under training, and Ghanaians generally assume that
Everybody they see
even
there
nurses
is a
under
nurse.
training are nurses. That is a misnomer, unfortunately, and I must say that student nurses behave different from nurses at post. So invariably, even the cleaners sometimes, by way of how they dress, are considered as nurses. So let me just demystify that unfortunately, in many health facilities, anybody in scrubs is seen as a health professional. So I want us to put it across that, unfortunately, there are instances where, you know, without the name tag.
No, but I get what you mean.
You know,
But
I'm
the
just- you know-
persons in question are proper nurses.
Oh, I mean,
Not-
and that
not
is where I'm
cleaners
saying
and
that
not-
you cannot distinguish
No, but if the
who
person
are
has
student
come to,
nurses
if the person has come to
from a
attend to you,
nurse.
but who is a student nurse?
know,
The student
and
nurse
that
is
is
in
where-
the facility to work, and the person has an assignment, right?
That's why I'm trying to explain to you that let's be a bit circumspect and be aware that, unfortunately, when you enter a facility, not everybody that is dressed in scrubs is a professional and trained and fully working. And let me also say that I agree with you. Generally, healthcare professionals' attitude in this country needs improvement. Let's admit that. And I say that across board. And it also comes to one key thing, which he's not been able to enumerate very carefully, that when the working conditions are not at par,
You pretend to be working.
it impacts how well, how cheerful, how nice your nurses are. In some facilities, we even have greeters. You know, this rate issue, maybe if there were greeters, that alone could have changed the trajectory. Somebody who would just say, "Oh, how are you doing today? What's happening?" Even that alone can break you. So in all of this, our nurses' attitude, whether Jeff wants to dice or slice it, generally we have a very poor nursing attitude in the country, and that also stems from the fact that their working conditions are not, you know, entirely the best, and these are the you know. Listen, I always say that if you treat your workers well, they'll treat your customers well. I mean, that is the rule of business. If your employees are not well taken care of, your patients will suffer.
Right.
And it is so direct. And
Is that
and,
the case?
and I
Is
think
that the
that
case?
oh, I
Is
mean,
that the
listen,
case?
But
listen,
that the case?
before he even goes, let us understand that we are ready to partner the ministry to shape up attitude now in
You as a
we as a union.
Yeah.
We are always ready.
You have to be.
When we feel that the ministry is not against us, we are very.
But
who is
you
against
feel
you?
the ministry is against
Yeah.
you.
For this.
But the minister has said he needs to hear both sides, and that's fair. Is it not fair?
To support
Nobody's
the
against
minister
anyone.
on this,
Nobody's
I
against.
think that this is not a side issue.
No.
This is Ghana health, and
So we are
yeah.
ready to partner.
But it appears you guys have taken a position.
We've not taken
Against
any
the
We'll keep
position.
talking to them.
No. We have
We'll
not
keep
taken
talking
any
to
position.
them.
We have been very collaborative with the minister.
Are you still laying down your tools?
No.
We have not reached that point yet. It is not something that we have
It's
thrown
not
off the
necessary.
budget, but we have not gotten to that
It's not
point.
necessary.
Very well.
Yes, sir.
Let me.
We have nothing against the minister. It's our minister. We have nothing against the minister. We know and we give him that respect for that. But the action the minister took is what we said we are not happy about
yeah.
it. And
We've
that one
gone beyond that now.
we can say that
Very well.
we are ready to partner the ministry, Ghana Health Service, and all its
No,
agencies.
you should say you continue to partner.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. Are you against? Are you against the ministry?
I mean,
No, we are not against.
It appears you are. It appears you are standing at one place. But Tony, if you also say you are just exposed their posture, it means that there is some thinking that they are on one side. All right, let me just. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. Your microphones are actually off. Your microphones are actually off. Let me take a few of your messages. This one says, assault on hospital staff can never be tolerated. Such incidents have resulted in serious injuries and even deaths among staff who are already working at maximum capacity. While the de-escalation is always a preferred option, under no circumstance should assault be condoned. In the United States, for example, the code green is activated and security personnel promptly remove the aggressor. If the assailant is a patient, medical teams may employ chemical restraints, including intubation and sedation, when necessary to ensure the safety of both patients and staff. This one says, the standard of medical and nursing care in Ghana is very bad. The government should introduce a quality assurance program in the hospital. I think there's that already, if there's the hospitals. This will improve the standard of delivery of the services. That's Kwekun La Paz. This one says, good morning, I'm enjoying the discussion. I feel like it's going to be the government versus nurses and midwives in the next 3 years. Okay. This one says, Selorm, please, to your panel discussion, the minister was there together with the manager of the hospital. Again, the minister can't call the arrest just on the account of the said nurse. It's the work of the hospital management to report the case to the police, not the minister. Then the police district commander of the said locality must be called to answer. Chris in Ashalebochwe says, Selorm, I honestly don't understand why some people are trying so hard to put the blame on the minister. Truth be told, some health professionals in our hospitals behave as if they are angels and cannot be questioned. Yet their attitude is often rude and unprofessional. They are always quick to blame politicians, forgetting that it is the same politicians who build the health facilities where they are employed. Bro, I nearly lost my life in one of these facilities because a nurse glued to her seat ignored my cries of pain. That's interesting. Chris in Ashalebochu sent that one in. Let's speak to Dr. Nanaya Akwada, who is a public safety person and executive director for the Bureau of Public Safety. He joins us on Zoom. Hello, good morning, Doc. Welcome to the discussion. I know you've been following it. You've been following the incident from Monday when we got wind of it. The minister has spoken, etc. Putting on your public safety hat and all that you have done in the past, what is your general thinking around this whilst we wrap up this part of the conversation?
Good morning, Selorm, and good morning to the rest of the panel. I think that some members of your panel have done great justice to the subject. You have adequately pressed the representative of the Ghana registered nurses in the studio, and I'm particularly very happy about it. You know, so as it stands, the issues of assault, I believe that generally all of us agree that has to be dealt with, as a standalone matter without neglecting the mundane issues of the systemic failures within the health sector. And I think it's very, very imperative that, the Ghana Registered Nurses Association, come to terms with the observations and the concerns of the public about how, nurses receive patients and how they act and treat patients, when these persons arrive in their facility. We must understand that is a customer, and it's a service provider relationship. We must understand that we are also guarded by health charters, the patient charter, the nurses charter, the doctor's charter, and these must guide us. These are not merely documents that we have, developed and they're on paper for nothing, right? That said, it's also important that while we are talking and looking at assault, I think it's long overdue. We have had assaults in our medical facilities in recent past. It's long overdue that every medical director, takes cognizance of this and take very effective steps to put this in place. I am taken aback and quite disappointed that we have to come to this subject again, not in any other ordinary medical facility, but RAGE of all places. The medical directors of our various health facilities must be up and doing. The last time that a minister of health called one out, we had the whole fraternity of medical doctors, standing behind this director and forcing or attempted to force an apology out of the Minister of Health. For me, I thought that was very unfortunate because, look, Selorm, the problems within the health sector are not occasional. They are everyday issues. They are everyday. As we speak, people are being mistreated. And when I say mistreated, not in terms of treating their conditions, but they are not getting proper due care in the hospitals. They are not being dealt with in dignity at the hospitals. And the buck must stop somewhere. We cannot be elevating everything to the level of ministers. Everything must come to the level of ministers. We should not be seen to be doing that. We have medical directors in place that have a role to ensure that these facilities are functioning as expected. People are getting dignified treatment in the hospitals, and we have nurses in place that we are compensating, month on month to be delivering such care to citizens. We must make sure that we hold them accountable. That is one. And then number two, if as a people, right, we come to the terms that, look, we would sanitize and keep accountability within the health sector, we will get somewhere. We will get somewhere. We were in this country when whole central medical stores were burned down. And I'm saying this because I heard one gentleman in the studio, I understand he owns and runs a facility, admit to the fact that the conditions of service of nurses and probably including doctors is not, for want of a better expression, is not as good as expected. But we live in Ghana. I mean, whose condition of service in Ghana is okay? I wonder if today one sector of workers will come and say that our conditions of service is good, and so go look at others. Even our ministers of state, who sometimes we are tempted to think that they are pampered, also cry about their their conditions of service. Even Article 71 holders that we think they are, seriously pampered, even sometimes also complain about condition of service. So I think that that point should be, taken lightly I mean, in the face of all these happenings where people are not getting treated. You go to a hospital, they ask you to come go and buy your own goods. You go to a hospital, they say you need to get this money before you get that. Years back, I was in a hospital and I was in pain, immense pain. And I was told that the service that must be given to me, there is a queue, and that I'm going to get the service in 4 months. In 4 months, when I knew I was going to die before it was going to be my turn. Such are the conditions that we are faced with, where government provides, people do not take care of it very well. Government provides the resources, people divert those resources, and then we come back to lacking. Why we're in this country when the whole central medical stores got burned down to, in a bid to cover up tracks. Government has plenty of things to deal with. The real gap is accountability. That's what we have to look at. Is accountability. And so medical storekeepers, managers, medical directors, doctors, even if 1 or 2 nurses were actually billed for negligence and lack of proper care, the system would quickly self-correct. We must not be throwing in excuses for, that makes the system not run as we expect. We must begin to hold persons accountable, or persons who have been entrusted with duty of care.
We must hold people accountable. Yes. So talking about that and the initial point you made, the director of the hospital, or the boss at the hospital, in this specific instance, what could they have done? I mean, there was should I call it a breach of security? What should be the way forward? A patient could go rogue and misbehave, It's not as if the place was, quote unquote, attacked by very external people. This was an internal person, as in came there to seek healthcare, got unhappy with the care he was getting, and then called in reinforcement, started some things, and then called in reinforcement. What could the leadership of the facility have done about this?
Yeah, Selorm, I have said this again. As far as there's been a nurse, was hospitalized for assault, if I were the Minister of Health, considering all this talk about accountability, look, the medical director will be cooling off at home by now to start with, because, security has been breached. Your staff that you've been given to take care of, one has been assaulted. While we look at the issue of Ralph in one direction, in the first place, the medical director will be cooling off at home, because it doesn't make sense to me that in 2025, a hospital like the Rage has no security systems. Look, elsewhere, even passive aggressiveness is reported, and immediately there is surveillance on you. Passive aggressive, just passing a comment, that sounds a bit aggressive. You are reported, whether known or unknown to you, and you are under surveillance. The slightest effort shaking that you do, you are removed. You are removed, or or restricted. How come that a group of people, whether public or patients, could storm a health facility and be up there, be arguing with nurses for this long? And reviewing the videos, it seemed to me that situation was in place for more than 20 minutes, because I saw some patients up from their bed following the young man, trying to get their message also highlighted to the public. And it was sad that while some people think the young man was causing chaos and confusion, we had persons who were in that facility to receive care who had walked up to him, not to calm him, but to also report their cases.
So that is a problem.
That shows how
That is
selfless and
that's a problem,
how
then.
helpless the situation is. How helpless the situation was. Some of us are seeing this guy as an intermeddler. He was causing confusion, but we had patients who were following him and telling their story to him that, look, me bahache, it's very, very helpless and very breaking. So
very well.
One, if the medical director should be cooling off at home, and it should send a signal to all other medical directors to put in place proper security systems within their health facilities.
Very well.
To ensure that these things do not occur. My wife cannot go to work, and for someone's negligence, somebody goes to attack her, and then I have to now deal with an ailing wife or an ailing sister or an ailing mother. It is not acceptable.
Very well. Great one. Thanks, Doc. Yes, we'll take a short break and we'll switch topics. But Goodman, now that you are here, let me ask you this. So you were saying that they said some CT scan, they were to transfer the guy to a place to get a CT scan done, etc., and that the CT scan facility at the Ridge Hospital was not working. Yeah. It's disgraceful, isn't it? Ridge Hospital will not have a functioning CT scan, and it's not in isolation. You go to College, we go to all the big government facilities. For some reason, they tell you some equipment is not working. It's not working. And you have to be directed to a private facility to get that done. And that facility that is not working, or equipment not working, would have been spoiled or would have been broken down for weeks and months. Yeah. And there's actually no interest or motivation to get it fixed. What are you doing about this? It's a new minister who wants to get things done, who wants to reset the system. What is the plan for that?
So the minister has said that I just mentioned that going forward, we need not to buy equipment for hospitals to use and then we don't even know where the proceeds go to. Let's create a CAPEX account somewhere. So if I bring you this equipment, whatever you generate from this equipment should go into the account in order to replace the equipment or to repair it anytime the equipment breaks down. That is the idea. And then the second thing is to now go into this PPP arrangement with the private sector. Because you can't keep buying and then it breaks down and then we'll go back to government. Government, the CT scan is not working. They bring another one. You use, we don't know where the money goes to. Because, they just box all the money into one, use equipment money to do other maintenance work, buy water for the facility, and then the cash cow is just left there. So that is the way we are going. You can $260 million equipment replacement, and so today we can't find these equipment in the system.
I see. Let me take a few messages. I'll take a break. This one from Edward says, my brother, I personally left the hospital ward with all the needles in my hand to go and report the nurse in charge to the second in charge of the hospital for neglecting me because I had complained of the pain I was going through. This happened at the Suntresu Hospital in Kumasi. In fact, this one from Kweku again says, in fact, the government should make more use of the administrators to manage the hospitals rather than the doctors. When I was in the UK, only 10% of hospitals were managed by doctors. I see. This one says, Selorm, I'm a nurse. I worked in Ghana and the UK. Our health system, both nurses and doctors, is nothing to write home about. In the UK, there is patients Allison services, PALS, in every hospital where you can go for redress. At emergency wards, there is a policy to contact the patient within 30 minutes of visit. My experience at 37 Hospital Maternity, when my sister was there, and recently my mother on admission, leaves much to be desired. Our doctors and nurses need reorientation. They chose that profession. All right, you didn't add your name though. The nurse here is not really happy, but of course you hit the nail right on the head. Akosia from Accra says, good morning, Channel 1 TV. I have realized and observed that nurses who are rude and ignore client needs are mostly the female nurses. The male nurses are very friendly and calm to receive and attend to clients with smiles. More of the males must be enrolled into the nursing fraternity. That's Akosia from Accra. That's interesting. Akosia is genderizing the thing, and Akosia, I presume, is a lady. Well, this one says Ghanaian, so more nurses like Jefferson here must be trained. Now you're saying it's a matter of interest as well, Akosia. Ghanaian nurses are so full of themselves, you say, and talk to patients rudely. I've had my fair share of that lackadaisical attitude of theirs. If they want to be treated with kindness, dignity, and respect, they should check themselves. From Francis, citizen Francis, says, why can't the Ghana Police Service, why hasn't the Ghana Police Service arrested Ralph yet? The fact that he remains free despite his brazen actions, filming in hospitals, emergency ward, and putting patients at risk, screams of selective justice. It's time the authorities acted swiftly and upheld and held him accountable, just like they would with anyone else. Dr. Dakwa in DC says, good morning, Selorm. There is a difference between medical negligence and delay of care due to shortage of staff. Ralph's case was the latter. So what he did was unnecessary, unacceptable. Look, they should just arrange rehab for him ASAP. Okay, let me take this. Okay, so that's it for the last one. This one says, okay, in respect of the licensing issues, Jefferson, people are telling me that they want to see more of the disciplinary actions, against nurses who are reported. It does appear we showed our own, and then we talk when it is external. So this one, providing some insight, says that nurses renew their PINs each year, and it comes with CPDs, professional evaluation, etc. So the point is, perhaps we also need to put in place systems in the hospitals that will make patients be able to freely write things and put them in suggestion boxes about the kind of care they get. And we must take that seriously. Sure. We must not just leave that for anybody to open and read. It should go to the very top so that people don't remove other things from there. They don't remove the key ones.
No, the minister has actually directed that every clinic within the hospital space should have a
suggestion box.
Client service person there.
Mm-hmm. Client service person means you are going to employ another person.
No, we have a lot of persons. What do you call
national service?
Non-clinical staff within. They can do that work, and so
they
will concentrate on their work.
But it's very important we have a client service.
Okay.
So they can relate with clients, and then
what I'm hearing is that some people empathize with you. Mm-hmm. Others also empathizing with you say you brought it upon yourself, even though I don't agree. But that is a sentiment you must take seriously and work on. This is a big issue. We will be right back, and I'm sure Jefferson will not be on that panel because we'll be dealing with Shatta, Wale and some things. Don't go away.
Feeling super fine. Let's go, don't got no time, yeah. Turn it up, I'ma strut my stuff. You see me walking on the block, can't get enough. Like, nobody can touch me. They wanna be like me, but I got no time to get up, get up, get up. Now let's go. We gotta move on up. We gotta move on up. We gotta move on up. We gotta
play me for it.
It's go time. We gotta move on up. We gotta move on up. Call me. We gotta move on up. We gotta move on up. Now let's go.
Beautiful.
Get up,
wow.
Get up, let's go.
Decent cross, wasn't going for it. Up towards goal. That's a superb finish.
When it's go time to supercharge your hustle, make it go time for GoTV.
Get up, now let's go.
Love it.
In Ghana, West Africa, the mornings are somewhat, if not for the perfect companion. What a good day to start. Another day. It's always smiles knowing we are together. Ooh, what a feeling. Work is always effective with NASCO home appliances. If it not be you, then who go there? No wahala, if the sun is up, we there for your appetite. Never a dull moment to go for something chill. And Nijepa, I want NASCO fear. NASCO, bring home happiness.
Good evening and welcome to the greatest show on earth. This is a people's game. They will be bubbling about this one for weeks and months to come.
It's on SuperSport all season long. Pay your subscription today. Dial star 759 hash. Available on DSTV and GoTV.
In a world filled with challenges, we all need guidance, hope, and a lifeline to anchor us.
This is Lifeline, and I'm your host, Fred Crunchy Mensa.
From social issues, relationship challenges, and family matters, Lifeline is here to inspire, uplift, and guide you on your journey.
Where we give you support, where we hold your hand through the valley and through the thick and thins of life.
Join Bishop Fred Crunchy Mensa.
I welcome you especially to Lifeline.
Every Tuesday and Thursday at 10 p.m. right here on Channel 1 TV. Let's walk this path together, strengthen our faith, our families, and our lives. Lifeline, because every soul deserves a guiding light. Tune in to Lifeline on Channel 1 TV and let's grow together.
You're welcome to the big issue. 97.3 City FM just gone by as a discussion on the Ridge Hospital matters and matters arising. Ralph St. Williams says, quote-unquote, invasion of the hospital and the alleged assault on the nurse. The nurse, subsequently, we saw yesterday, is taking out a writ or is filed some action at the court against him, seeking reliefs in the form of defamation and damages for battery, etc. Totaling 7 million, 5 million for damages for battery, and then 2 million for defamation. The next few days will review a lot. The minister has been there, and people are not happy about the minister's engagement with the quote-unquote aggressor. So we dealt with all of that, and so now we move to another matter, which is in the entertainment sector. Ghana's dancehall superstar called Shatta Wale has been in the news. He uses a Lamborghini vehicle, a luxury vehicle, but the IOCO and FBI and DOJ from the US have been on his case. They have been investigating the matter, and that matter traces to the particular vehicle that it was bought with proceeds of crime, and Shatta Wale would have to answer questions on that. Shatta Wale says he bought the car on the street from one Zach, whose identity he can't confirm or he can't verify. But months ago or weeks ago, he had said the car belonged to somebody else he was using to brand himself. And it does appear that the records or the documents on the car appear to be the same records or name or details of the gentleman who has been jailed in the US, a Ghanaian American jailed in the US for romance scam and things like that. It appears it's a wide web, and they are now closing in on the people. The question is, what should we be doing? Should the celebrity culture, the lifestyle, shouldn't our institutions be concerned about how our celebrities make money and how they live, the kind of lifestyle they portray to the people? Of course, some may be showbiz, but when indeed they claim that they own those things, shouldn't we be interested in investigating them? If we had done these, perhaps we would not have been here. And now it does appear that a major embarrassing situation is about to befall the nation, because people think that if Shatta Wale is extradited and possibly and eventually jailed or convicted by the US authorities, it says a lot about the entertainment space in Ghana and all of that. So that's what we want to look at generally. And my guests in the matter, Dr. Dixon Adomahu-Kwesi, former MP for Anya Soto, Andrew Apia Dankwa, spokesperson, Movement for Change, and indeed Dr. Nana Yawakwada, who is a public safety advocate, and he does many other things. And we'll be joined by Samida Akun, who is Director of Strategy and Research at the Office of the Special Prosecutor. Gentlemen, once again, you are welcome. I start off with you, Andrew. The Shatta Wale matter and all of the things we are seeing, Iyoko getting involved, etc. First, is it strange for Iyoko to be collaborating with U.S. agencies to be investigating our own people? How should we look at that?
Yeah, so I don't see it as strange. In fact, I think it's good for the battle against economic crimes and the global view on money laundering. Yeah, because it's essentially if Shatta Wale or whoever it is, or people involved in this matter, because I understand that there's a Ghanaian American who's been convicted for romance scam, and that romance scam involves U.S. citizens. You understand? And then the government of the United States, based on their obligation to protect their citizens, and based on the fact that where crime has been perpetrated in America against their citizens, then they also reserve a right to more or less pursue justice, and if that pursuit would be aided by they collaborating with the Ghanaian institution granted power to fight economic crime, then I think it is in the right direction. And so I think on that score, I think it's in the right order, and I personally don't see any issue with it. Now, when we come to the issue of the Shatta's case and the celebrity culture and then all the lifestyle issues, my view, and I think that this is one of the biggest problems that we have been dealing with as a country, is our inability to enforce the laws. Because all the issues about lifestyle auditing and they're all issues that have been dealt with by the law. They are as in one country. We have FIC, Financial Intelligence Center. We have Iyoko. We have the we have
OSP, who can deal with those things, even CID and all of those.
CID. And yet, as in, without being a security person myself, a simple question, as in, you see some lifestyles, and the question is that how much do they earn, and are they able to fund the lifestyles they are living? And what even makes the case very sad in Ghana is how we use social media here. So they blatantly show this lavish lifestyle on social media. Well, if it's a legitimately earned lifestyle, I don't have an issue with it. In fact, we should even encourage people to work hard to be able to then live their life the way they want to live it, insofar as it is legal. But it is worrying when you see a lot of lifestyles that really begs the question: how much are they earning, or whether or not they are making legitimate money to earn those lifestyles. And really, Iyoko or the bodies granted the powers to check them don't work. So in the Shatta's case, I'm very sure Iyoko was prompted by the US. In fact, I've had communication to that effect, so that if the US or people connected to the US were not involved, would Iyoko have acted? And that's a worry. So for me, I think that we need to solve the issue of the enforcement of the law. It's not enough just rather than signing treaties and passing laws in our parliament. Unless and until we enforce those laws, then the purpose for which we even grant people powers to enforce to enact laws will be lost on us. I also want to comment on the issue concerned as in the people gathered, Shatta's supporters gathered. I must put on record that I'm a huge Shatta Wale fan.
Oh, yeah, Shatta fan. So, were you there?
I wasn't. I'm a huge Shatta Wale fan. I think he's super talented. But there's a reason why we created a system and said we want the system to be governed by the rule of law. Yes, and one of the abiding principles of the rule of law is that we are all equal before all of us. Yeah, you understand? So that if and the purpose for we taking up ourselves the rule of law is because we will accept think it's a generally accepted view that that's the only way in which our rights to our lives, our rights to our liberties, and our right to personal our own happiness can be guaranteed. And it is our duty as citizens of Ghana to behave in a manner that will entrench the rule of law. So that if bodies that our laws have mandated, you understand, to protect all of us, you understand, are acting or in a manner in accordance with their mandate, then it's not in any of our interest for citizens to amass the
but they see the politicians do it, and it does produce results. So
yes.
if the politicians have done it and they've had results, why not?
In fact, so I think this call is not just to the Shatta supporters, but also to the politicians themselves. Except that in the case, as in so, a typical example of where the politician mass was during Chimawuntumi's case. In that case, I think Yoko was wrong. And so I did not say anything wrong.
Yoko was wrong, as in terms of the bail conditions?
In terms of that 48 hours, because see, the Constitution says clearly that the only grounds under which any Ghanaian should be kept in custody for more than 48 hours is by a court order. I mean, I don't think it's a defense.
So where the bail is being granted, but the conditions have not been met, what can be done?
So that when you are giving your police inquiry bail, you should have that in mind. The bail condition shouldn't be so onerous that there'll be a chance of that 48-hour rule being breached.
But the onerous nature of the bail would depend on the person involved. Is that not the case?
No, and that's why. So because you are not the court, because the Constitution is so clear that the only body that can ask for somebody to be kept, somebody's freedom to be taken more than 48 hours
is the court.
So for me, it's not an excuse where you are giving bail to say because I granted, because the bail itself isn't liberty. The bail itself isn't liberty, because one of the conditions of granting bail under our laws also is the reasonableness of the bail. And when we are talking about reasonableness, they also talk about the circumstances and the regime. And the regime, insofar as a bail condition is being granted outside of the court, is that you should not, because the person is, for example, is still innocent. And so in the case of the Chimawuntumi, when the politician amassed after the 48 hours, I think it was in line with our constitution. Except because they were all MPP people, and because MPP has not so much credibility, people did not, as in how we interpreted it, we personalized it. But really, if you're going to be objective and fair, in my view, I think that where Yoko 2 is acting outside the mandate of their laws, then it's our duty as citizens to call them to order. But having said that, I think for me that was the issue. I feel that because the 48 hours hadn't elapsed, Yoko was doing their job. So what I said, because it's Shatta Wale, because you're a huge fan of Shatta, I don't think none of them are bigger fans of Shatta Wale than myself. Yeah, it's not a justification for. And I think it's a culture that is quietly creeping into our society, and we must find a way of nipping it in the bud. Other than that, then we risk creating a situation where some people will be more equal before the law than others, and we don't want that. It shouldn't matter whether you're a celebrity, whether you're a politician, but if you breach the law, then the law must. But in how the institutions granted powers to enforce the law also act, they must act within the confines of the law. And then lastly, I think, so Yoko, FIC, they need to look seriously at the lifestyle audit issue. It's something that we need to seriously, if it means we don't have, I think in the UK they have what's called is it unexplained wealth order. They have a law that I think unexplained wealth order. I don't think we have anything of that.
Yeah, not as in a full law, as in an act. But I think bits and pieces from various laws.
And that's why I think so. Also, we also need to find a way of putting all these laws into one body. Makes it easier. But there again, like I said earlier, so it's important to pass the law. But what's the appetite to enforce the law? Because unless we have a serious appetite to enforce the law, then we risk creating a system which will become lawless, and I don't think that's the kind of we want. So yes, I'll encourage you. I think I think they are doing a great job. The fact that because if Yoko for a very long time has been used as more has been weaponized as a political tool going after politicians. But Yoko's job is not just to deal with politicians, because economic crime isn't done by just politicians. So I like this new Yoko. The fact that even though some of us believe it's because they were prompted by the US itself. But I think it's high time they treat the Anti-Money Laundering Act seriously, and they treat all the various bodies of laws, bits of laws that deals with unexplained what's called issues. Yeah.
Great. Dr. Kwada, let me come to Dr. Kwada before Dr. Dixon Aduma. Yes, you've been following the issues. Yoko being prompted by FBI and DOJ to get this done. The issue that has come to the fore is how Ghanaians embrace unemployed, unexplained wealth that often people are not able to explain. The case in point, when the gentleman was asked where he got it from, the answers he gave, from what we were hearing, the answers were not or could not really hold water. How should the approach be? Of course, we've not reached a point where we can conclusively say that he's not been able to explain how he bought a car. He said he bought it $150,000. What can we be doing? Unexplained wealth, the law is clear. We've not been able to enforce it. And the same issue has happened. The Sisi Dadapa case, the money is found under her bed, etc. Explanation was lacking. Real explanation was lacking, even though some things were said about how she got the money, etc. What should we be doing, about this to rid our system of unexplained wealth, which has consequences for the younger generation? Because when they see these celebrities, flaunting wealth around, they think that is the way to go, and they will do whatever it takes to get there, or to get the wealth and flaunt it as well. Because these are celebrities, they command a lot of following. What can we be doing about this?
Well, thank you. Just on a lighter note, how about thinking about passing an unexplained poverty act, because there are people in Ghana today who are working 24/7, trying to be very prudent with money, and they are still poor, right? So in the last time this issue came up, I read on social media, look, before we pass the Unexplained Wealth Act, let's pass the Unexplained Poverty Act, right? And I thought that was very, very funny. So that's not to lighten the point my co-panelists made in the studio. I think it's very important that we look at that aspect of our social life. It's very, very important, especially in this era of transnational engagements, global engagements, money laundering. It's appropriate that we look at how people come by their wealth and how they, carry themselves out there in the public. Otherwise, we risk something very, dangerous. And I think that it is long overdue. It's long overdue. Lifestyle audit is something that we need to take seriously. We have people today in Ghana who sit on radio and television to brag of not just their money, but following. Some of them have even bragged that they have what it takes to take the Ghana National Army on. So it's not something that we should be treating lightly. We must continuously be on the beat, making sure that no one individual becomes more powerful than the state. It is not that we don't want people to be wealthy. It's not that we don't want people to be influential, but that we must guard against our security. And guarding against our security is to ensure that the state remains the most powerful, unified, subject within the realm. And I think this is very important. Now, I think the one panelist mentioned, the one who spoke just a while ago, and forgive me if I'm not tracking the names, Selorm.
Yes. So that's Andrew Appiah-Dankwah.
Yeah, Andrew mentioned that we are having a creeping culture of every high-profile arrest triggering, a crowd, which is a dangerous development that we need to nip in the bud. Okay. Shatta is big. I mean, there's no doubt within the Ghanaian context, he's big. And even though I'm against the people ganging up there, I had a good laugh, watching the people, the kinds of people, who gathered there, the things they were saying. It was also a form of entertainment, but let's face it, it's a very dangerous, culture creeping within our system. Why? We arrest a politician, people gang up. We arrest someone from the clergy, people gang up. I mean, we arrest musicians, people gang up. What's going to happen next? What's happening now is that we are going to normalize this disorder. And this disorder will encourage impunity and it will reduce deterrence against crime, right? The other day when Chairman Wontumi was arrested, look at the crowds. When Agrada was arrested, just look at it. I mean, the politicians, whichever way, if you arrest someone from the NDC, people gang up, MPP, people gang up. So we are running into a situation where now the security agencies, before they even carry out their duties, they are going to do evaluation of all of these, and it's going to impact on them, how they work. This is not what we want. We don't want to be creating people who are a law unto themselves, such that because by virtue of they are following, the security agencies are going to be wary of bringing them to order when these persons violate the law. Why? In the USA, R. Kelly, I don't think Shatta is bigger than R. Kelly in terms of net worth and even in terms of public following. Okay, R. Kelly has been arrested and jailed, sentenced to 31 years in jail. Okay, 31 years. Son Diddy Combs, Puff Daddy, or whatever his name is. Apparently, he's been, tried, and I understand that his case has ended. They've sentenced him on some counts, and he's now waiting. He's been, found guilty, and is now awaiting sentence. Not a single life was on the street. There are about 5 more top musicians in the USA who have been arrested and are currently facing, prosecution, are going through prosecutions. Not a single soul came on the streets. Why? Politicians were arrested, not a single, people were protesting, people were standing with them, but nobody ganged up. So this ganging up of crowds, when persons of influence are arrested, is a bad culture, very dangerous culture that we need to nip in the bud. Either we'll have to pass laws, because I know we have a Public Order Act. We activate the Public Order Act, or we pass other laws that will, navigate the nuances of such arrest, so that we do not have these. You can protest against an arrest, but in other means other than ganging up, because what will happen in future, and if we don't check this, is that the situation may escalate, and if it escalates, it can become violent. Properties may be destroyed, people's lives may be lost, people may be injured, and it can even run into the communities. In some cases, it can even follow the law enforcement officers to their homes. So we don't have to encourage this culture that's creeping in. It is absolutely dangerous, and the earlier we nip it in the bud, the better.
Very well. This is a big issue. I'll take a short break. When I return, we'll hear from Dr. Adomaku Kisi on his views about this, and then we wrap up the show. This is the big issue. Don't go away.
In Ghana, West Africa, the mornings are somewhat, if not for the perfect companion. What a good day to start. Another day. It's always smiles knowing we are together. Ooh, what a feeling. Work is always effective with Nasco Home Appliances. your day. Nasco. Classic home appliance for the fisher folks. Any jepa, I want Nasco fie. Nasco, bring home happiness.
All right, you're welcome back. This is the big issue, the final lap of the program. We're discussing the Shatta Wale matter, cybercrime, IOCO, law enforcement, unexplained wealth, flaunting of wealth, what security agencies of law enforcement can do. We heard from lawyer Andrew Apiadankwa and then Dr. Ananaya Akwada. Dr. Adoma Kisi is here for a stake on this. So, Doc, a lot has been said about enforcing the laws, etc. Did you feel that there is the willingness on the part of law enforcement to really go into finding out how these guys make money, etc.? Because if you can't explain it, then it means there's a problem. But we don't appear to be interested in things like that. What's the reason?
Well, let me say that personally, I cry when people are victims of cybercrime. And it's become a huge thing in this country. Mobile money theft, amongst other things. And if you've witnessed or been a victim, you appreciate the fact that it's not a laughing matter. Elderly people's mobile money are being stolen just like that.
And it's become very sophisticated. So if you are not smart, I mean,
listen,
everything.
You can be smart, but these guys will outsmart you. And I think that from that perspective, carjacking, car theft in the Northern American hemisphere is a very serious thing. I've had issues where, especially in the winter, you warm your car and only come back to an empty parking lot. These things are bad. And I think that as a nation, we should not try and achieve that reputation of a place where stolen cars end up. Is going to be very bad for us internationally in terms of our shipping records. And for me, I think that is a more serious reason why cars entering this country and the people involved need to be carefully looked at and dealt with in a very brutal way, forgive me, in the sense that it's serious high crimes. And these cars are quite expensive.
Yeah, but how would we know? How will you know? I mean, third person. How can a third person know that this is a stolen car? That's difficult.
No, I'm not, and I'm saying the enforcement system in this country. So we're talking about how I went through the port, DVLA, registration, all of this.
Yeah, but
makes it very important.
Yeah, how would the system know? Or there's a way the system can know that this is a stolen car? Listen, if the car was stolen maybe today, shipped tomorrow.
Well, I mean, you don't ship overnight, forgive me, unless by flight. And even that, I think even the thieves need to be educated in terms of car tracking systems. And the fact that now we're in a global village. Once you post videos from Africa, flaunting things, you yourself put yourself up. And is quite infantile to video yourself by a stolen car. And I mean, it begs the question, are we really aware of how incriminating these things are? And these are things we do on the dark market, but to actually put it out there begs the question. And this is a wake-up call for all of Ghanaians that, the American system is changing under Donald Trump, and they'll come after you. Even, to the extent that, let me add that some have even faked their death in this country. To evade the feds coming after them. So I'm troubled, and I also agree with the Zoom Nanayao that this trend of people going to the police station, people trooping to IOCO should stop. And if the likes of R. Kelly have been put to jail, the likes of Puff Daddy, and he's just no other person, please. Not that I'm a fan of him, but the guy's net worth is huge. The likes of Jay-Z, I mean, these are people who are well known. But let me also put out a caution. All that glitters isn't gold, and many are copying the wrong things and seeing the wrong things as right. And I think the media also has a role to play in demystifying this and making the youth aware that hard work is always very important, and that knowledge is power. To borrow from my own school, so I think that IOCO also owes the general public very good education, so that some of these rushes to IOCO when someone is arrested or detained should be stopped. And I also would plead with them that they work their case well and take them to court, and not this holding up people with no court proceedings. I'm not entirely happy about that.
But
build your case well, take them to court, let all of us know that they are going to court, let the case be heard. If it will be televised, fine. If it not, fine. But that should be the process. These huge gaps, you arrest today, it's now that you're doing investigations, you don't have as it is, a court case. I mean, it's troubling.
No, but the arrest is part of the process. You want to hear the person, you want to interrogate the person. So we're still building the case or the document.
Are interrogations necessarily 24 hours, 48 hours? I mean, what is it? I mean, if you've built your thing well, I've seen scenarios where the FBI go through garbage for 2 weeks, 2 months. So by the time they grab you, it's just 3 hours of interrogation. And it's either you're getting your bill and going home and facing the court, or, so I think that IOCO should not over-aggrandize itself. It should have limitations as to the delays and even, quote unquote, people or persons of interest have rights. And that cannot be trampled over.
I see. Yeah. Whilst we wrap up, of course, let me say that today is Doc's birthday, and we wish him the very best of the day.
That's right.
And
was speaking to all of us.
Strangely, and even Dr. Akwada too, I guess. So it's, happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
You've been an amazing person.
Happy birthday.
Great guy. But you support a candidate also in the upcoming MPP election.
Oh, yes.
Your candidate, Brian Echampong, appears to be showing up in the polls. The latest one by Musa Dankwa appears to be giving him some
percentage.
Some percentage. How is the camp feeling about that?
I'm happy you've asked this question. One, let me say categorically that past performance of polls are no guarantees, and I am of the opinion that this poll is premature. It should have been done when all the candidates, especially the new entrants, have had a chance to engage the constituencies. There are 276 constituencies. The General Secretary has stopped us from engaging them until Akwetia election. And I see this as a paid for advert in a way. And I think that, respectfully, Musa Dankwa should come again sometime in November when each aspirant has had an opportunity to visit the constituencies. Listen, Dr. Baumia, fantastic guy. As it stands now, many who were with him have even declared to stand in the election. And these are people who moved with a number of people. So this percentage, especially when you don't even have the state machinery, and as it is the before now machinery that helped you, begs the question. So I think that as a researcher as well, one, we will not take for granted the polls. However, I think that it's rather untimely and premature, and forms have been picked. We've not had the chance to engage anybody yet. So I think that...
But the explanation or the conversation around this suggests that your candidate is eating from Honorable Kennedy Japan's stock.
the candidate himself was in Baumia stock. So it begs the question. You know, Educhum was in Baumia stock. It begs the question. Kwabene Japan was in Baumia stock. So when the candidate himself was a strong supporter, financier of Baumia and has left, is rather ridiculous. So, and Brian will not leave without numbers. He left with some numbers and some following. So I think that, one, this is premature. Two, when you're doing research, you should be mindful of the timing and the surrounding circumstances. Nominations have been opened. None of the aspirants, especially the new ones, have been allowed to even visit one constituency. So I think that this is not very pictorial or reflective of the current happenings on the ground. Granted, we all know the MPP polls were erroneous, heavily erroneous, based on the results we got in the elections. And internal primaries, by January 26, anything can happen.
Very well.
Anything can happen.
Well, very well. So just to let people know, Musa Dankwa put Baumia at 52, Kennedy Japan at 17, Brian at 3, Honorable Oseduchum at 1. But he did say that Brian Champon appears to be the one, the fastest rising, whatever that means. All right. So this is how we conclude today's edition of the program. My guests have been, of course, Dr. Dixon Adumaku Kisi, former MP, Anyaso Otum, Andrew Apia Dankwa Esquire, private legal practitioner, spokesperson for Movement for Change, Dr. Nanaya Akwada, who is a public safety advocate, executive director for the Bureau of Public Safety. And of course, earlier you heard or saw Tony Goodman, head of communications at the Health Ministry, and then Javasin Asari, the Greater Accra chairman of the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association, who dealt with the earlier matter of the Rich Hospital. This is how we conclude today's edition of the program. My name is Selorm Adonoo. Have a good afternoon.